Warning, this podcast has some swears in it.
I'd rate it PG-13 at most, but let's just be on the safe side and say viewer discretion is advised.
Oh.
What's up?
It's displaced dinosaurs.
What?
Benoit's card, it's displaced dinosaurs.
Is it literally called Displaced Dinosaurs?
Do you not remember that card that whenever a historic permanent enters, it becomes a 7/7 dinosaur?
Oh, okay. Okay,
Like,
yeah.
yes, it literally is called Displaced Dinosaurs.
You know what? There are times where unless you were invoking the universe's beyond set known as Doctor Who, I do not know what these cards are.
Lamau and lol.
Time to raise your blades, heroes.
And check some vibes.
It's the Heroes Blade Vibe Check.
Quinn, where's my Devil Trigger remix?
Honestly, I just like Devil Trigger by itself, and the way that remixes usually come about is I hear that in my brain, and then it gets corrupted isn't the right word for it, but it's the one that I'm going to use here. Corrupted into a remix. So
okay.
Like the like Fallout Boy remix that I did of that is elevator music. It's because I just like could not stop hearing like elevator music dance in my head, so I needed to make that real.
You needed to get it out of me. I need it gone.
Yeah, basically. But I haven't had that sort of experience with Devil Trigger. Like, it's just that song, so I'm like, I don't really have any inspiration.
How can you fix perfection? You know?
Yeah, it is kind of that.
It's just like, wow. Oh, you know what's so funny? Because like I'll ask you something about Devil May Cry later, but I find it so funny when you have people entering a franchise or media or a game series or a fandom or whatever, and then they start absorbing it in reverse, or they start somewhere and they go back to the start and then work their way back forward. But their opinions or their preferences are pretty much stuck from where they started, right?
Oh yeah,
so
absolutely.
Like, for example, I'm currently, at the moment, I re-downloaded Fallout New Vegas because they announced the second season for the live Fallout show. So I'm like, okay, they're going to New Vegas, and there's all the plot points of that stuff that are probably going to matter. So I probably should just go back and actually try to finish it for once, because I haven't actually finished it before. Because I started on Fallout 4, and I like Fallout 4. So I'm like, okay, I gotta give New Vegas the try, because I finished Fallout 3 too, right? So I'm like, why am I keep dropping Fallout New Vegas? And everything that it comes down to is I tried to do the DLC, and the DLC is so polarizing for everyone, even like back when they originally came out in, what is it, 2011 or something? So like,
I have no idea.
Knees are old, backs breaking as we speak, all this other stuff. But like, I start Dead Money, and it's suddenly survival horror, and you're like, whoa, this game fucking sucks.
This is not what I signed up for.
And then I think the next one is Honest Hearts. And then, like, I get that point, and I'm like, wow, this is boring as hell. The reality is, I just need to, like, ignore the DLC and just play as much of the main game as possible. And
that's been my experience with New Vegas so far. I have no idea where the DLC even is.
They put it on your map the minute you start.
Yeah, well.
But anyway, so my experiences of Fallout and like the identity of Fallout and like all of the things that they did in 4 heavily inspire me and make me think about the franchise through that lens. So when everyone's like, yeah, well, Fallout 4 is a piece of shit, you can't mod it to like make it a good game, to which I say I can mod it however the fuck I want because I have a computer. So anyway, I'm looking forward to that, and I've kind of hit all like the beginning points of the game that I expect. So like I'm trying to like change things up, play it on a slightly harder difficulty, try to like deviate from like do a little bit more early exploration and blah blah blah. So I'm enjoying myself there. I still have not started.
I've never played I haven't played enough of it to actually understand this reference, but you're doing the Fallout equivalent of not choosing Skyrim's Stealth Archer build.
Oh, well, the thing is that like, despite how janky it is, New Vegas and like 3 and 4 are like shooters, right? Like, and I think maybe like the way I would have to change it is like purposely choosing like a melee build, because in Skyrim, someone pointed out that like the combat systems don't mesh super well depending on how you play. So if you play melee, you have to deal with your enemies blocking you, and you have to do like fixed points of damage and all this other stuff. And don't even get me started on like the magic system, because people have issues with the magic system because like you can't be super busted with magic without like basically cheating crafting. But then you just start breaking the game over your kneecaps. Like, okay, so I use my crafting to make these magic items to make my magic hit harder. But before I do that, I'll use the crafting to make magic items that increase my crafting. So I'll go back to crafting and make magic items that increase my stats. And then you do this feedback loop where you're like, cool, now my magic is dealing 1 million times damage. And you're like, okay, what the fuck, right? But then when you look at stealth archery, the only thing that matters is how much is your investment in the archery tree and in sneak, and then there's nothing that like really interacts with that system. It's standalone. So then you're like, cool, everything, instead of the carcinization of a crab, it's the carcinization of the stealth archer, because it is the most superior form of dealing damage and dealing with enemies before they even notice you. So that's why, like, when you hear about a lot of mods for Skyrim that try to do all these overhauls, because they want to give the other options of combat like more playability and buildability. Like, did you know that you could do unarmed combat in Skyrim like decently well, and you don't have to be a Khajiit?
I have not played enough of that game, actually. I actually, the other day, tried to play some more of that on my Xbox 360, who has not been turned on in quite some time.
And no Red Ring of Death, right?
No, she boots up just fine. Unfortunately, she does not read discs anymore.
Oh, no. And the store doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, so I am going to have to...
Oh, you were modding.
If I want to play Skyrim.
You're going to be modding the shit out of that Xbox.
Maybe? I don't know. I've never even like considered that as an option. If there's send me instructions on how to do that, Lamau. If that's easy, I'll just do it.
Look, if you can mod, if you can like jailbreak your PSPs or like whatever, I think you could probably maybe do that with like an old 360, right?
Probably. I just have never looked into that. It's very easy to do with the PSP and the 3DS, though, so it can't be that hard if it's a similar level of difficulty.
Yeah. So anyway, so Fallout and modding and all this other stuff, that's what I'm doing in the background. I also finished playing Robocop Rogue City. So congratulations, you're playing RoboCop Simulator, the biggest propaganda game you've ever seen. But when your police station is literally like the most decrepit piece of shit. All of the money goes into you, RoboCop. And crime is like hyper lethal if you like leave the station. Like, okay, you clearly have not watched RoboCop, and I haven't watched RoboCop in years.
Yeah, I've never seen a single movie. We know this.
Yes, of course. So let me give you the TLDR. So Alex Murphy is our main character at the beginning of the movie, and Red Foreman from That 70s Show just fucking lights him up with his goons and just leaves Alex like a hole-ridden mess. And he legally dies. And they're like, cool, we're going to take this man's brain and spine and shove it into machinery and make him RoboCop. You're like, that's pretty fucked up, dude. And that movie is really fucked up, what happens in that movie.
Wow.
And then like you kind of see what like, so it's in like it's in like retro futuristic Detroit, and the super mega conglomerate company is like, we're gonna fund this program to make RoboCop, and we think that like RoboCop is the future of law enforcement as long as you toe the line and we pay your money, and or we pay you money and blah 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 and all this other stuff. The cops are like, this is bullshit and blah blah blah. Anyway, so Alex Murphy finds his humanity again in the and whatever. But like literally every time in these movies and in this game too, it's so horribly dystopian that you're like, wow, RoboCop really is like the most reasonable human being in this setting, because like you could go through a huge shootout of like 30 plus people and it's just a bloodbath. Like you're surprised no one else is dying as badly as Alex Murphy did. It's peak like 80s action. Like it's obviously like not I wouldn't say cult classic. It's like, you know, it's popular media from back then. They're like, let's make a game in 2023, and you're like, that's kind of crazy. Okay, it's time to play RoboCop Simulator, where you're walking around slow as molasses on the decrepit Detroit streets trying to clean up crime. And it was a good time. I got it on sale for like $8. I would recommend anyone to go get that for that much. And if you can't tolerate walking around at the pace of like a senior citizen with a stroller, I think you should move on. Level up the skill tree that gives you a dash, and you might be able to save your sanity.
Well, all
yeah.
right, then. That's the a ringing endorsement of that gameplay experience.
Quinn, my taste is horrible. I love playing trash video games. Anyway, how's Devil May Cry 4, Quinn? It's been a while.
It has been a while. I'm getting close to the end of that game, though. I think I'm on like mission 16 or 17.
Describe
Describe
what's happening. Are you back to Nero?
I just got the Lucifer swords.
Right.
Dante.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
not back to Nero yet, I don't think.
You soon. Like
Okay,
another
good,
like
'cause
2 missions
I
or
fucking
something.
miss playing as Nero. Holy shit, dude.
I know. I thought it was so funny. So this is the retro. This is the retrospective part, right? Of you're like, okay, I'm playing DMC 5. I don't know about Nero. I love summoner role playing, and then they take your boy away, and you're just like, no. And then now you're like, wow, I love playing as Nero, and Dante is like really complicated.
Yeah, and then they take away my boy, and now I have to play as Dante, and I'm just like, fuck, dude. It's all right, though. I'm putting together the combos and all of that. I'm doing stylish kills. I'm switching between weapons. The fucking Pandora guns, I think, are kind of annoying. So you were correct when eventually you were like, some guns you will never use. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. They look cool. And then actually in gameplay, I'm like, get out of my way. Stop switching to this weapon.
Yeah, when we had Andy on and we were kind of talking about like character action games and stuff, it's like the skill ceiling is so absurdly high, and like I could send you like a video of like Don Guri, a Japanese Let's player who loves doing like Devil May Cry and character action stuff, and you'll just be like, what the fuck is like fly canceling or all this other shit? And you just see Dante like literally slip sliding around enemies before like doing something, and you're just like, what is happening? I don't understand. And like that's the thing, is that like the game is so beyond us without us like heavily investing our time and energy into it. And like, let's just be real, if I'm not going to do that, you're definitely not going to do that.
Well, damn. You are correct.
But again,
I'm not going to get that good at it.
I will once again, as I had messaged you and you were just like Jerry emoji, was the if you can land a Shoryuken while entering Devil Trigger at the point of impact, you will just like literally melt something's face off. Like it's literally the most busted thing that is the easiest to pull off as just like a normal ass player.
It is extremely fucking cool, though. I haven't quite figured out the timing for it. One thing that I am getting the timing for down is the activating the rev button on the Red Queen. Getting better at doing that along with hitting people. So I like charge up before fights, and then in fights can keep myself topped up with the revs by doing that while I'm hitting people. So that's been a satisfying like level up moment for me.
Yep. In 5, because I'm thinking about going back and fiddling around with Nero more, because when you finish 4, if you go back to 5 and upgrade Nero with his new Devil Trigger stuff, there like the funky stuff you can do with him is super sick. But like I swapped the button control scheme around so I can try doing like max axe stuff like with only just my thumb instead of trying to use like the trigger button. But it's like a timing thing, and like I can never quite get it down. But messing around with like his bringer and like the Devil Trigger attacks and all this other stuff, it's just like, all right, Devil May Cry really is that game. And once you figure out like what Nero's capable of doing in 4, it's the exact same thing. Yeah,
it's pretty fucking cool. I do really like the look of just activating the Devil Trigger literally only long enough to get your hit connected and then turning it back off. It looks very cool aesthetically, and also is just an efficient way to play the game.
Yeah, exactly. Just, all right, we'll use it for a pop off and then take it back and charge back up and then do it again. And it's like, yeah, you got to spend that meter though, you know?
Indeed.
What else have you been up to?
Goodness. Playing Final Fantasy IV, that's what I've been up to.
I've heard you've been having a caps lock fucking, like, what the fuck moment with the game.
Yeah, so I set it down for a while because I was frustrated with a boss. I think Kagnatsu, the Drowned King or whatever. He is one of the 4 fiends and is a very annoying experience. And then I did the thing that you're supposed to do when you get stuck in RPGs. Instead of complaining about the game, you just go do more random encounters and literally get good and then come back and handle it. And so I was like, fine, I'll go do that. But then I was looking into that game on the internet and realized that the version that I was playing, the 3D remake for the Nintendo DS, they made that version harder on purpose because they thought the people had been through the game enough times and were already experienced and needed more of a challenge. And I'm like, my dude, this is like, this was my first experience with the game.
Yeah, it's, you know what? I do find that funny because let's go take a look back at Devil May Cry 3 for a minute. So the normal difficulty is actually the harder difficulty, and the easy difficulty is quote unquote normal back in Japan. And you're just like, what the fuck is this? You know what? Okay, now that I'm thinking about it, you have DMC 3, like you have like the collection on PC, right?
Yeah, I have basically the whole series now.
Okay, so if I don't know how it'll work, but there is a Devil May Cry 3 mod. I can't remember what it was called, but maybe if you can mod that, you might be able to enjoy the game easier because it brings a lot of like quality of life stuff back to 3. So it plays more like the more modern ones, but I don't know what it takes to do it. So don't.
We'll see once I finished Devil May Cry 4, because I think that a lot of that was just like not having experience with Devil May Cry's particular take on the character action game genre. I was working with Bayonetta knowledge, and you have witch time in that game. And
Oh
you do
yeah,
not
that
have
makes
witch
that
time
that
in
makes it a
Devil May Cry.
lot easier once you just dodge shit and you're just like, cool, stay where you are.
Yeah, there's witch time and dodge offsets with your attacks, and there's like all sorts of different movement technology that you got in Bayonetta that you don't have, at least at the beginning of Devil May Cry games. And me having no experience with the genre, and also not having access to the tools that you need to really like be moving around them things, it fucking sucked.
Yeah, it was it gets rough at the start for 3 for sure.
Yeah, I think we'll have a much better time with that now.
But yeah, Final Fantasy IV and making things way more difficult than they need to be because they're like, well, the West's got this down, right? Everyone and their 5-year-old, their like 10-year-old sibling playing this game. No, God, please save me.
Well, as it turns out, no, not everybody has this down, but it's okay, because I figured out that you can just grind, and so we're doing that whenever we run into difficulty, and seeing the cool emotional story beats. I've met almost the entire cast at this point, and have made it further into that game than I've ever gone before, so that feels very cool and satisfying. We just met the ninja boy Edge, who is fucking an edgelord.
How is he not? He's literally called Edge.
Yeah, they really, wow, an edgy ninja named Edge, huh?
Just, you know what? They don't make him like they used to, you know?
Yeah, and I met my bad bitch summoner Queen Rydia at the full height of her power again, so that was very satisfying to see her come into her own and fly in on a mist dragon and save your life. And man, Final Fantasy is cool. Video games are good.
We've been saying that like every week, but it is very true.
Yeah, I just can't fucking get over how good video games are.
Wow, video games, am I right?
Yeah.
Let's
so upkeep.
Yeah, let's just go do our usual preface of what's coming up or what's new. So the MTG Lexicon 24-hour stream, by the time this episode is out, will be happening the weekend just afterward. It's going to be on the 30th and 31st. 24 hours from 1 p.m. Pacific on the 30th and ending on 2 p.m. Pacific on the 31st. We are going to be doing D&D in the morning, followed by a live bonus episode of Heroes Blade Vibe Check for a couple hours, and then we're going to be doing Commander games from like 8 or 9 p.m. onward until the next day. We're doing a bunch of giveaways. There will be sub-only giveaways as well as viewer-only giveaways. Got a bunch of pre-made decks by Nick, aka G3. We also have a bunch of sealed commander decks, and thanks to a generous donation from Quiver Time, we got 5 or 6 deck boxes of theirs to give away. So look forward to that.
Yeah, dude, shit's gonna be fucking lit. Come through.
Yep. Our next guest, which will not be on the bonus episode, but will be in the episode in a couple of weeks, will be with Cody from Brew Review, who told me that he's actually going to be he's looking into doing changing up his branding a bit. I cannot announce what that will be, but maybe he can tell us that next episode, because I think what he's coming up with is, I'm down for it.
Hell yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah. And normally I'd put this in content, but I think maybe we'll just mention it here because it'll be out by the time this episode comes out. I guested over on Andy's podcast, You Know What's Cool, talking about No More Heroes. That'll be coming out on the 27th.
Hell yeah. Looking forward to it.
It's like 2 hours long. It's gonna be fucking awesome.
It's always long form content over there. That's fine.
Yeah.
People know what the fuck is up when they come through here. All right, we got our fucking certified yappers in the house. Okay.
Yeah. Listen, and if you have a problem with it, listen, I think you have like ADHD or something. But
if you have a problem with it, listen to it on 2 times speed or whatever.
yeah, get that shit down. Which I don't know. Listen to you and me fucking yap at 2 times speed. I don't know how you're getting anything we're saying. But yeah, so 24-hour stream. Cody's coming up next. You know what's cool? No More Heroes. That's coming up in the near future. Let's go into vibe checks. It's kind of not Spider-Man season. It's actually kind of the Last Airbender season.
Yeah. Okay, you go first, and then I'll go, and then you can do the last one.
Cool. So they did a bunch of previews right now, even before Spider-Man's come out, because Spider-Man and then The Last Airbender are coming out for the remaining Magic sets this year. Figured we'd go ahead and get some of that out of the way right now, just to keep on top of things. I'm talking about Fire Lord Ozai for mine. 3 black for a 4/4 human noble. Whenever Fire Lord Ozai attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, add an amount of red equal to the sacrificed creature's power. Till end of combat, you don't lose this mana as steps end. And then the second ability is pay 6, exile the top card of each opponent's library. Until the end of turn, you may play one of those cards without paying its mana cost. Ooh,
fucking boy.
So outside of, sacrificing thing for mana, which is pretty sweet. Just having a 7/6 on the clock will really make people either want to block this guy on top of him being your mana generator that also happens to carry over into your next main phase. Like this guy seems... Is he a hero? Fuck no. Is he going to take that hero's blade and use it anyway? Abso-fucking-lutely. And you also get to just take other people's stuff, depending on what you're able to put out. Being able to, you're good against that person with, a banger, high top end of just being like, oh, here's my 6-drop bombs deck. You're like, cool, let me yoink your 6 mana, 6 power bomb and then use that to fuel to get other things. It'll be pretty gross. I anticipate this guy will probably be... He'll be out there. He'll be out there in the wilds for sure.
Absolutely. People love to touch other people's cards, and maybe you won't see that as much in the spell table metagame unless you play with sickos. It's me, I'm sickos. But you're absolutely going to see these at the LGS.
Yep, for sure. You have a Fire Lord to talk about.
I sure do. Fire Lord Zuko.
Hi, Zuko here.
Alright, so Fire Lord Zuko is a legendary creature, human noble ally for a red, a white, and a black. He's got Firebending X, where X is Fire Lord Zuko's power, and whenever you cast a spell from exile, and whenever a permanent you control enters from exile, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Also, he's a 2/4, so by default, he's got Firebending too. This guy absolutely passes the vibe check because in this deck, the blade is literally Pyretic Ritual. You cast it for 2, you make 3 extra mana with it. Easy peasy.
Yeah. You've been playing with this guy the last little bit. I'm also very excited. Okay, let's be real here. He's Mardu, and I was like, show me who the Mardu legend is of this set. And they're like, it's Zuko. I'm like, I'm fucking sold. It's over.
Yeah, of course Johnny Mardu wanted to take a look at that.
But you got first dibs. So, you can have your fun for now, and then I'll come swoop in and do some absolute bullshit with it. But this guy's sweet, and him carrying the blade. Even so, one other thing to talk about, because I'm pretty sure we've confirmed that Firebending for X value or whatever it is templated like Extort. So the color identity of a card is not affected by this, despite the fact that like he's 3 colors, which is like fine. But
exactly. The one of the card that's relevant for is Firelord Sozin, who's the backside of the Rise of Sozin, a 6-mana saga. You on the backside of that have Sozin, who has I think Firebending 3, but he's still a mono black card because the Firebending 3 doesn't have a red mana symbol in that anywhere.
Yeah. So I don't expect us to be seeing this too often, if at all, but the set has only had like mostly like the jumpstart stuff previewed. We'll have to...
People are not very excited about the like intro pack sort of legends. I wanted to see what the set mechanics did, so I'm exploring that.
We'll talk about it later once we hit the content section, but I think
sure fucking will.
There'll be some stuff to mention there. But yeah, this Firelord Zuko, fucking super cool, loving it. I do have one more to mention.
What you got for me?
So we're looking at an uncommon version of Aang, the Last Airbender. We accept no substitutes. It's 3 and white for a 3/2 human avatar ally with flying. When he enters, airbend up to one other target non-land permanent. What happens is you exile that target card. When it's exiled, its owner may cast it for 2 rather than its mana cost. And then whenever you cast a lesson spell, Aang gains a lifelink until end of turn. The only thing that I'm thinking of in this type of thing is like having a like mono white flicker deck with Aang with like a Hero's Blade and stuff. So you get rid of your blockers on the ETB and then you find ways to like swing in with him as like a 6/4. Is it anything like super glamorous? No. Are you going to be casting lesson spells? Probably not. But I think he's kind of just simple and to the point of having like, he's not like the worst exile thing, but like some people probably complain about still having to spend 2 mana to like reset their board or something. I don't know. Neat little design. It's going to be interesting to see all the bending things at like whatever mana value or whatever other cards they're associated with. We'll go over the bendings later, but I don't know. Not a bad intro, I think.
Yeah, I think that is an extremely playable card. It'll definitely show up in the 99 of the like 5 color set mechanic deck. And maybe 1 or 2 Siccas will put together the like artisan or like the budget mono white flicker deck. He seems like a good candidate for that. And like you talked about, has the just like flying plus power in the command zone. You can end games like that.
Players win games. Right, Jay, as we go into comments?
Yeah, on episode 42, Jay says, Flyers do be winning games. So true, bestie.
Uncharismatic Bard, now we're back on last episode. Uncharismatic Bard saying, listen to this during a flight, hit DJ EQ section in perfect timing for takeoff. Pretty sick IMO. That is actually pretty
Beautiful.
sick.
Hell yeah.
Also, fucking loved Edge Vibe space storytelling. Definitely gonna go consume more of that. Thanks for a great episode, y'all. I started listening to the main story. I think I'm about halfway through right now. And like, hell yeah, freaking Edge of Eternities is like fucking awesome.
It fucking rips. I'm so pleased that people are going back and exploring that now because it's so good.
Yeah, it's really good. The narrator really kind of nails like everyone's cadence, and like I feel very much like the youthful energy from our beloved Blorbos. In also, like I know you nailed it, right? Like everything about all the story beats you nailed. But there's just something about the person doing the voiceover for the episodes, just like hitting all those moments where I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
There's only so much that I can do in the brief summary time, and like I hit all of that, but man, that guy, they really hired a professional voice actor for this, and it shows.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. We said it last time. I don't know how the last few episodes we've done haven't really emphasized getting into it, but really do take a chance. Turn on the podcast for like 1.15 or 1.25 speed if you really need to get through it, and just fucking listen to like the absolute chaos space adventure that is Edge of Eternities.
It's fucking peak, dude.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right, up next.
Also all gay rhythm. Thank you.
Hell yes. We got comments from Kevin who says algorithm gang. Hell yeah, dude. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Light's got a demand for you.
Lux. Yeah, demanding more full Quinn tracks and episodes, please and thank you. Yeah, we can deliver on that. I don't think I have an original one this week, but I can play something that I haven't posted yet. So that'll be fun for you.
Mm-hmm. And then Newton saying Blorbos and Scrimblos forever.
Yeah.
Mike Hirose is out in BC right now. I went to go see his comedy show on the weekend, and before he came out, I accidentally mistyped something and hit enter on Discord, and then he's like, "Is that like an acronym? Like, is that like a thing?" And I'm like, "No, that was I mistyped that, but I can understand that." And one of the things I find really funny about this, like what we do, is we're millennials, and yet we can still manage to like combine like Gen Alpha bullshit or just like internet colloquialisms of like, yes, the Blorbos and the Scrimblos, like the Blorbos and Scrimblos forever. That truly is like an eternal thing, that because we're on the internet so often that we're just like, yes, my Scrimblo. And a regular person will be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
My Blorbo from my show.
My parents, if I said anything like that to my parents, my dad would just give me the dirtiest fucking look in the world. And my and I have a so I just to kind of tie this in, I have a coworker, she's about like maybe her late 40s or early 50s. I don't ask a woman her age or anything. But she came up to me last weekend in office, and she's like, "Hey Cole, I'm gonna be heading out in an hour." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And she's like, I'm gonna lock in for the next hour. And I just kind of like turned my chair and I look at her and I said, "What?" And she's just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna, I'm gonna lock in. I'm gonna lock in." And I'm just like, I just start laughing. She's like, "I got that from my daughter." And then she's laughing because I also I'm like, well, I also say that, but I usually add a time. I say time to lock the fuck in, and just, So yeah, she's picking up the lingo from her kid. And then I'm just like, what's going on with me? Am I on the internet too often? Do I just see like Gen Alpha like content all the time, and that's why I'm absorbing it? I don't know.
Are you on the internet too often? Yes, absolutely correct. Next question.
So yeah, so dare we say that we'll maybe put a Quinn track in here before we go into content?
Yeah, we can put something here for sure, dudes.
Cool.
You're listening to the Heroes Blade Vibe Check radio show. Hey, it's Johnny Mardu. It's been a while. Got that frog out of my throat. This next track from Eclipse was originally an experiment in chiptune synthesis before Faye sampled a Game Boy. Turns out that was a lot easier to pull off. The song is called Resurgence. Get a really cool vibe from this track. Hope you enjoy it.
All right. Content time. You got something to start us off?
Yeah, I was reading actually a different Kristen article, but
Uh-huh.
the one that I want to highlight here is the thing that she linked to in the um at the end of that article was an older article that she did from 2022 about how much life is an extra turn worth in EDH.
Mm-hmm.
And she posited the question to I think the Twitter following at the time of just like, if I was making like a 3 mana extra turn spell, how much life would you need to pay to make that like a thing that you would cast and like feel that was fair? And people settled on somewhere between like 10 and 15 life. And of course, she was never gonna like make that extra turn spell or whatever. She's just trying to find out how much like life equals an extra turn, basically. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what people settled on. And so, just like finding ways to ensure that you can gain life in chunks of like 10 to 15 can buy you a turn past where you should have fucking died in a game of Commander. And this is a thing that I've been saying for quite some time, that life gain equals extra turns. And to see that validated on an article from 2022
From 3 years ago, yeah.
it was just like,
Over
oh
three,
yeah,
3.5 years, just about, actually. Is that math right? That math's right, yeah.
I don't
Damn.
know. Math is for blockers. And I don't need blockers because I have lifelink.
Yeah, but then you got to do the math for how much life you're gaining.
Oh, fuck.
Oh no. Congratulations, you got yourself. Yeah, I guess maybe while we're here, because of the tie-in, Kristen had an article a few days ago about how Commander games feel fast these days, and here's why. And she kind of breaks down.
That's the one that I was reading. Okay, yeah. At the end of that article, she posits if your life total is melting too fast, you can, air quotes, take an extra turn with lifelink, and then links to that article. Okay, I remember the link now. Thank you. Continue.
Well, yeah, but like, but yeah, so she breaks down just kind of like the various reasons why, things are sped up, and a lot of things is like low curve commanders, treasures and card draw being tied to combat, which, hey, you know, big fan. The various low cost, high impact board wipes that have been printed over the years, game actions melting your face over the course of a game, as well as just commanders that are just so fucking nuts in the command zone that they just kind of warp the game around it. As well as sort of like the tools that allow you to break through board states to continue dealing damage to opponents. You know, happy to. I'm not exactly happy to not see Gesserai Monk being mentioned here, but you know, it does the work. It does the work. You know,
That is a cool special for Sherzies.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, basically tying that into the how much life is an extra turn article, it's kind of necessary. Where like it might even tie into something I'll be talking about later, but like it's kind of hard to avoid the ever flowing chalice that is new sets, and with new sets means possibly new staples or strictly better versions of prior cards, and some of that usually just involves the most face melting combination of effects in the command zone or in the 99. And that's why games, like, we can say, sure, I'd like to have a game end on turn 9 or turn 10, but realistically it might be ending on turn 7. Like, that is where we're at right now. So yeah, go check this out.
Man,
I've been really enjoying our little conversations with Kristen in our chat. We were talking about black and white as like a color combo recently.
The other day, they are struggling because their whole game plan is predicated on like having to actively throw pieces on board away in order to advance their game plan, and it's like that's an interesting take on that. And yeah.
maybe we'll find it. We'll hear about an article about that in the near future. I guess we're gonna find out.
Perhaps, yeah.
So, so I came across this one that I thought might have caught your interest, and as usual, the one time YouTube's algorithm really like helps out. This YouTube video is by the Aether Files. I haven't heard of them before. They have under 800 subscribers, which now and then I'm reminded I'm going to subscribe to them now. Their video is about, it's called "When is a Commander Deck Not a Deck? Aluge in a Daydream." They put an Aluge deck together and tried to make it as thematic as possible to a lot of their inspirations from their childhood, like 2000 Leagues Under the Sea and all this other stuff.
Okay.
It is a 40-minute video, but I think that there's just a lot of cool stuff being put into it.
I will watch 40 minutes of content related to that big fish because I love it.
Perfect. And then after that, Pyway has a mono white Dan video that's about an hour long. It is let me bring up the card here, because the pivotal card that's being used here in place of Dan is Dotun Grunt. It's a 1 and a white 4/4 giant soldier from, what is this, fucking Cold Snap or whatever?
Oh, hell yeah. That's old magic.
Cumulative upkeep. Put 2 cards in a single graveyard on the bottom of their owner's library. So this is a way to, again, very graveyard focused, which is something I can get behind. You have sort of your what is it, memory lapse or whatever the hell it's called, the blue spell. We got Lapse of Certainty as like a counter the spell, put it on top of the library instead of the graveyard. There's like Codex Shredders and Conjurer's Baubles and some like really interesting choices in here to do like top deck manipulation, all this other stuff. I'm always kind of interested in seeing something that's a bit different than your standard Dan list. And in the Discord, in the Lexicon Discord, we actually got a tiny small amount of people investing in Dan variants, and I'm kind of interested to see what people can come up with, even though I have not played any non-commander adjacent Dan variant ever. So yeah, go check that out. I thought that was interesting. Decent production quality, go check it out.
You can still appreciate a format even though you haven't spent any time playing it. So yeah, worthwhile to check that video out.
And then this is kind of like the last one of a hey, Legendary Creature Podcast got a new episode out. This time they're talking about trends in Red. So they kind of go over new design philosophies that have come out and like kind of where Red is right now versus kind of where it's been in the past, and still how they're seemingly kind of trending towards like certain ways to do impulse effects and all this other stuff. So I kind of was going through my second listen through because, you listen to it through work and you're like, I got about like most of that, but let's go back and listen to it again because
there's a lot of material in there to digest, so I absolutely understand needing more than one listen through. I for sure will be doing a second listen through.
So go check that out. And now let's talk about some of the Last Airbender previews, huh?
Yeah, those are happening. We've got fucking this breakdown of all sorts of mechanics and available products that you've got in here. Jumpstart packs is where we got, I think, the majority of these cards from.
Yeah, they have a bunch of different, as usual, like, I don't know what, are they doing commander decks for this? I can't remember.
No, I think they have a bundle that has some avatar art commander staples, as well as the maybe like a face card or something like that, but they didn't have the actual like commander decks for this set.
Yeah. So we got Aang's glider as like one of the set symbols, and then we have his little face silhouette with his air nomad arrows. So the one with his little face is the main set. The one with the glider is the, what the hell is it
I
called?
think that one's the Eternal
Legends?
set.
Oh, okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah. So
Basically
lot of
just signifying that it's legal in Eternal formats.
Right, yeah. So there's a lot of interesting designs. The one thing I do want to point out are the bending mechanics, because that is going to be the one that I think is either going to be confusing as hell, or the most straightforward thing in the world, depending on like the type of player you are. So we mentioned Aang and Zuko earlier for firebending and airbending, but let's just go over it. So airbending says the long TLDR is you exile the target non-land card. It can be recast for 2 generic. Conditions may apply. To some of the cards like Appa specifically say you can only airbend your own cards because it's one of those like protection spells. We're like, okay, that makes sense. It has Appa has flash and all this other stuff. Sure, okay. It's going to be interesting to see how that works out, but that's very much White's wheelhouse. Get things temporarily out of the way, make people recast it at a reduced cost or whatever it happens to be. Waterbending, this was the one that they previewed initially with that 4/5 color Aang and the Moon Spirit. So Waterbend says to reduce the cost of an effect by tapping your creatures and artifacts to reduce the cost of that effect by 1 each. Things like drawing cards, which is like, sure, yeah, tap a bunch of your small little dudes, or if you're not using your clue tokens, for example, you can tap your clue tokens to go do that. I think, let me see if I can find the card. But the Moon Spirit one, where like,
oh my gosh,
just
her card is bananas.
Cast a free fucking spell, no timing restrictions. I don't know. I don't think so. But it's literally just spirit bending, water bending 5, tap, cast a spell. You're just like,
yeah, Yue the Moon Spirit is a legendary creature spirit ally, a 3/3 for 3 and a blue with flying and vigilance, and Waterbend 5 tap. You may cast a non-creature spell from your hand without paying its mana cost. This is also one of the most beautiful pieces of art that I've seen in quite some time. We've got Yue the Moon Spirit floating in this like absolutely beautiful flowy white gown. It sort of like mimics the fins of
water.
The koi fish that she came from, and the water that she would be floating in if she was still in koi fish form. And then in the reflected pool below her, there is the like black koi fish to mirror her white koi fish.
Yeah, the yin and yang thing. One of the few things in the show that's like actually kind of super fucked up. It's like, all right, it's time to give my spirit back to the spirit that saved my life, but that means you'll die, I guess. What? I'm now the Moon Spirit. You're like, wow, okay.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. So waterbending may or may not be kind of fucked up in the future, but as we're in the early preview season, we won't know. Earthbending. Let's talk about earthbending for a second. Your target land, a target land you control becomes a 0/0 with 4+1 counters on it, and it gains haste. If it dies or is exiled, it returns to the battlefield tapped.
Yeah, they've removed any of the downsides associated with animating your lands so that doesn't feel bad ever, and you always want to do it.
Now I want to point out a particular card because people have already been being like, how do I break Toph the First Metal Bender?
Oh, no.
Which I'm not going to go into. Like, okay, she's Naya, she's a 3/3 non-token artifacts. You control her lands in addition to their other types at the beginning of your end step, Earthbend 2. So what can be done? I don't know, but the early stuff people were talking about, like, how do I break Cage Sun? I don't fucking know. Apparently there's like an infinite loop that just makes the game in a draw. I don't know, but yeah. Neat. Glad they finally figured out the one thing that I hated about animating lands was just making it return back as a non-creature. And then, as previously mentioned, Firebending, where you add X red mana per the value list for Firebending. Usually kind of seems to either come like 1, 2, or 3, or X, which is like not bad. But that
I think
checks
3
out.
is the biggest Firebending number that we've seen so far.
Yeah. So the other thing to note about the set is that the ally subtype and shrines in some capacity are coming back. So a lot of ally cards are apparently also spiking in price already. God knows about shrines, but hey, hope you're ready for your 5 mana fucking shrine slop. Can't wait for that. But yeah. So initial thoughts, I kind of sort of grew up with The Last Airbender. Like, I'm pretty sure I was a teenager when I kind of like really was checking it out. And outside of it being a Nickelodeon show where white people kind of appropriated Asian cultures to make a show, still was kind of cool. Like, I like a lot of the ideas about the setting. The bending power system is like really cool for like world building. Also seems to be great for like a tabletop like RPG thing maybe. And then finally having them all be translated into what I would say like feels fairly appropriate mechanics for Magic, like Firebending.
I think a lot of these are as close as we're gonna get in like the Magic representations of them.
Like, so I get Airbending displacing something temporarily. Okay, like that. Waterbending requiring like tapping into other resources for the payoff or to make it easier. We get to see like waterbenders work together communally.
I also recommend tapping 5 creatures physically and seeing what that feels like, and also mimicking waterbending motions and seeing what that feels like, because they are similar.
Yeah. Earthbending, like animating a land for whatever value happens to be. I said 4 earlier, but it could be whatever value.
Yeah, it's throwing dirt at your opponent. That's exactly what earthbending is. That checks out to me.
And then again, finding the workaround of having the land die and coming back so it isn't absolutely, it feels bad. Great, that's just the earth resettling on the ground. I can totally get that. And then firebending being like adding red mana. When Iroh was doing his description of how like firebending's got like the double side of things of like it can be destructive or it can be healing in its own right, and it's like generating mana. It's like, cool, I'm accelerating myself to fuel my destructive things or do whatever the heck else you want to do with it, right? But it's not by itself, it is not inherently destructive. It's what you choose to do with the mana.
Yeah, I think that's a really good look at that. I'm excited to see what syncs they give us for firebending, because we've seen a couple of activated abilities and stuff, and one big instant, but I think the like slot for the limited 5 mana deal X amount of damage to creature and some other thing happens, there's like probably going to be at least a couple of ways to spend mana that'll feel satisfying, and I want to see what those are.
Yeah. And again, early previews, no idea what the rest of the set's going to look like. The fact they're trying allies again feels appropriate. That's what ends up happening in the show anyway, and how everything will kind of blend together, not only within the set, but also how it kind of bleeds back to Zendikar sets. I don't know. Guess we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know. I don't have any high or low expectations for the set. I just think we'll just have to sit around and wait to see what happens.
I think based on what we've seen so far, the shit's gonna be fucking poppin'. Having played a couple of the legends already, they feel extremely cool and good.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, anything else to note for content?
I think that's gonna be it for the content section. Let's get to Breeze Off the Shelf.
Cool. What do you got for us this week?
Up first, I have my look at the 5-color set mechanic slop deck Avatar Edition.
Okay, you're already on that shit. All right.
Yeah, so I wanted to see how easy is it to answer Aang's ask and enter the Avatar state, and not using the cheat code Moon Mist because they built the card with the rules text that they put on it for a reason, and like you can cheat that, but I want to experience the journey that they put out before me, so I don't have the cheese strats, as it were. So yeah, my construction, just fucking every card that says bending so far. There's quite a few of those actually, so we were able to fill out quite a bit of the deck with
Even
just
including some of the most like absolute nothing effects of it. It's just like literally do Firebending 1, get the fuck in there, don't care, get in there.
Yeah, there's a couple of firebenders that are literally just like a minute, Vindictive Warden, literally just Firebending 1, 2, 3 with Menace, and it's got a mana sink, so there's that. But we've also got the fucking giant koi, who has Island Cycling
fuck yeah,
2
let's go.
and Waterbend 3 to be unblockable for the turn, and it's a 5/7. I'm really trying to fucking take every instance of bending for this deck, because the ask that Aang wants from me is whenever you waterbend, earthbend, firebend, or airbend, draw a card, and then if you've done all four this turn, transform Avatar Aang. I want to transform him, so we're playing every opportunity that we have to put those triggers on the stack so that we can make the thing happen. We've also got the ally typal support, because everybody's an ally. Figured I might as well. I also grabbed one of the coolest allies in my opinion, Drana, Liberator of Malakir. She comes through and puts the +1/+1 counters on my guys and makes them hit harder. Turns all of my like shitty little nothing creatures into actual threats. We've got the Seagate Lore Master, who is an ally among allies. This guy's definitely going to get expensive in the coming days unless that gets reprinted or something like that, because you just tap to draw a card for each ally you control, and in the ally soup deck that's pretty strong. I've got extra land drops on an ally in the form of Mina and Den Wildborn. I just think that extra land drops are effective ramp pieces, and Aang draws me so many extra cards, I'll be able to see all of the lands that I need to hit those extra land drops.
Yeah, they're a classic. They do the work.
For ramp. Yeah. I also just have some cards in here that are like Avatar themed, like Appa, Aang's companion. It's a flying 2/4, and whenever it attacks another target attacking creature without flying gains flying until end of turn. I just needed evasion, and that was an on-theme card that could provide that for me, so that kind of thing is in the deck. We're just putting things in here that like make sense. Other card draw, because like the thing that I wanted to do was I just want to be able to curve out and play the creatures that I'm going to play every turn. So the card draw that we have is based on Aang's abilities, but it's also the look at the top X cards of your library, put those into your hand, and then put the rest somewhere else. So I've got Stock Up, Drawn from Dreams, and Dig Through Time to just like be able to reload with one or two allies or something that has bending to be able to trigger Aang's abilities and draw more cards and put me closer on my quest for the Avatar state. One thing that I noticed as I was playing the deck, though, Airbending, just like in the show, is a fucking rarity. Uh, I was playing that like, where are my fucking airbenders? And then just, oh.
Yeah. It's like there's the set name might have something to do with your issue.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that we see some more cards with airbending on it at least because it'll make it easier for me to accomplish my goals. But if I'm not
how many times can they reprint Aang in a single set to give you enough airbending triggers?
Well, it's not just that. I'm sure there's like airbending masters from before Aang's time that are referenced in the show that I can't remember the name of that are like viable inclusions in the set. So we might see that kind of thing.
Yeah, again, yeah, like we're it's still way too early. It has 3 seasons worth of material to like pull from. So like yeah. We'll just have to wait and see what's going to happen. But also, again, I just do want to point out the fact that of the I'm honestly counting 3, and I could be wrong, but I'm counting 3 airbending cards that care about entering the battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
So get some flicker effects out there. I don't know. I don't know how you work around this right now.
It's gonna be fucking rough, dude.
Fighting for your fucking life. Aang's like, I'm an airbender though. One of these fuckers give me firebending. God damn it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably because this is him at the end of the game, or not the end of the game, but the end of the show at the height of Sozin's Comet, where it brings out the like height of firebending power in firebenders.
Someone gave
that on that card.
Someone gave like the Avatar Aang versus Firelord Zuko like, wow, these two are so flavorful because it's the end of their journey. This is why, blah blah blah. And I'm like, cool. Doesn't change the fact that like Aang goes 3 for 4, and then he's like, fuck, where's my airbending? God damn it. I don't know. We're, again, time will tell. For the time being, you will be fighting for your fucking life. I believe in you.
I'm gonna do my best. Moving into gameplay experiences, the thing about Aang is that he's kind of Phyrexian Arena, and it also makes 2 mana, and it also beats your opponent's asses in the air. And that's the floor.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. He's kind of ridiculous that way.
On top of that, every time you do a bending thing, you draw another card. And as soon as I have enough benders that I can have literally every creature in the deck be an ally or a bender, I'm gonna be drowning in card advantage. And I think that he's just like a fundamentally an extremely powerful Magic the Gathering card. And builds that are built to speedrun the transformation process, once you've got all of that, like if you're playing your bracket 4 Aang deck with the high tutor density and your Moon Mist or whatever, then you can... Those builds will probably be pretty strong because the backside of that card is pretty good.
I don't know. If we've seen any Omnath like this, he's kind of reminding me of that a little bit, of just some kind of like 4 or 5 color Omnath doing some bullshit.
Yeah, I think 4 color Omnath is a pretty close comparison. It's very much do this, draw a card. And it generates mana the same way that 4 color Omnath did. Like, not to the same degree because they learned their lesson with that, but it does still give you 2 red mana. Like, there's... the mana is admittedly harder to use because it is firebending mana in the middle of combat, but also I'm sure the set is going to give you ways to use that mana, so I don't know. I'm excited to see what that looks like in the full context of the set. It should be a pretty powerful card.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, much to be prepared for. Because I feel like outside of like Spider-Man's was kind of similar in how it started and everything, but we're just getting a first initial glimpse, and you feel like they're getting everyone warmed up before like I wouldn't say throwing like a softball to kind of wrap it all up, but like we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg, and like once it finally comes out and we get to see the full picture, like I feel like we'll be able to appreciate everything a lot more. But the first things first, obviously, is like we got to get through Spider-Man first before we see the rest of this stuff.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. I have not felt compelled by Spider-Man Legends yet. So as soon as they show me one that I feel like building, I'll give you that. But until then,
well,
I'm obsessing over Avatar cards.
Morrow did do his little Tumblr teaser thing about the things you can expect. And the It's Morbin Time memes have already come back in full force. So we will be expecting to see a Morbius card. Among other
You were
things.
physically responsible for one of these. You posted a Morbin Time meme, so I don't know if you're saying that it's fully back, like in the context of the wider internet, or it's back because you're posting it.
It's back only for Magic the Gathering players on social media.
All right.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah, Spider-Man's going to be another interesting thing because I know there are the people who are concerned about how their spider decks are going to be replaced with Spider-Men and women.
I am a little worried about that. I do want increased spider support, but not at the cost of my spider deck being a Spider-Man deck, if that makes sense. Like if I wanted a Spider-Man deck,
you have to hold the line, Quinn. You have to hold the line.
Yeah.
Be strong. Don't fall for it. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see on both counts here.
I do think it's cheeky to be playing a Spider-Man deck, though, and include Ishkanah, Graph Widow in your 99, and then just be like, surprise, burn spell.
Wow, look at this surplus amount of Spider-Man out. Anyway, death. Just die. Yeah. We'll see both on that, but needless to say, I'm pretty sure some of us are expecting great things when we go back to Lorwyn.
Yeah, there are definitely people who are like, I wake me up when it's Lorwyn season.
I sleep. Lorwyn eclipsed. Real shit.
I'm excited for them. They get to experience the full length of Lorwyn's availability in Standard. Like the entire amount of time that it can be in Standard, it will be. So that's hype for them.
Yeah, true enough. I only got to see the actual logo for the set, like, I think it was after last episode that we recorded, like, someone showed it off. I think, Emma Partlow did this slide of, like, Will Smith gesturing to, like, all the recent sets that are going to be coming up. And when I finally saw the Lorwyn Eclipse logo, I was like, what the fuck? Like, okay, it's kind of funky and kind of whimsical. Like, I'm down for that. I can get behind it. I don't know what to expect from the set, but if it's eclipsed, weird, funky shit is going to happen for sure, and we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. Okay. Mind if I go to the little project that I got going on?
Now. What you got for me?
So, I have been keeping track of my games, and as part of keeping track of my games, I tried to indicate on my little Google Drive Excel sheet what are people playing. And what I started to do for this year, for 2025, was that not only am I adding unique, I'm trying to add unique cards to the deck list and not have doubles. And then I'm also trying to organize cards per month that they show up or if they stand out or whatever.
Oh shit. Added some more work for yourself, my guy.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's kind of like doing the podcast, right? Like, we get together every 2 weeks, and the only amount of effort that we have to put in is, okay, recently we've been changing things up, but like, you have to either record a bit for DJ Space Girl, and then you get to make a song, give or take, within a couple weeks' time, and then you're like, cool, here you go, cool. I'm like, great. And the only thing I have to do is edit the audio, and then kind of low key sort of not edit like the video for YouTube and then put it out into the world. And then like, good, get back to this in 2 weeks. But for that brief middle of the week moment from like Tuesday, Wednesday, like I'm in the editing room being like, fuck, I can't do anything else. This is kind of that thing where I'm like, if I'm bored as hell and I'm playing or I'm not playing video games or I'm not playing Magic, like I can sit down and edit this Moxfield list organized by month. And I gotta tell you, I don't know what it means statistically. It's just a wall of cards, right? But it is really cool to be like, what was I like? How many games did I get for that month is like kind of one thing that kind of indicates it. But the other thing is just like the sheer diversity of legendary creatures, both new and old, that you get to see. Like if just looking at April, right? Like I could be like, okay, so I know Captain Howler's Sea Scourge was probably you. I can look at like Gorgor and Satori.
Prosper in April.
I think that was my buddy Imran. I could be wrong, but that's who was doing that. My buddy Chris playing Mareki Reberi, which I don't know how that's fucking pronounced, but that's how we fucking pronounce it.
Bro, nobody knows how that's pronounced, and that's
fucking
totally okay.
Dickhead behavior. But again, someone's playing that commander, right? And maybe
is this my Kalia Zenith Seeker?
Let me take a look here. Yes, that is you. Correct. So,
nice.
So there are some things where like there are times where there's like overlap or like where two different people play like the same thing. So there's no real way to like indicate that. And I don't want to go that far because that is when like this whole thing is going to become way more of like an unnecessary project. But it is cool to see like, hey, this is the 4th fucking month in a row. Why did this show up all the time? And it's like, well, because XYZ person played this deck because we go up for our meetups and everything. So it's just kind of another way to kind of mentally keep track of everything, kind of have something to show off of like, yeah, these are the types of commander games that I've experienced this year. And you can just look at the absolute spread of fucking bullshit that people are up to in this fucking format.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Oh, wait, I know.
Who did what? What are we looking at?
Oh, I was going to say, who put Sharoom in the command zone in 2025 and then remembered Sharoom's #1 little guy?
Medusa. Just the biggest stan for Sharoom that you've ever met in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Man,
so
it is beautiful.
Go take a glance at this if you're curious. I'll put the link in the episode description. But I do gotta update. If I don't get any more games for the rest of the month, which is not going to happen because we still got the stream at the end of the month to go through. But we'll be updating that, and then we'll go see what's going on in September.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What else do you got for us this episode?
First I have a shout out for Croesus the Purger, who shows up a couple times on this list, and I know it's not just me.
I'll have to double check, but I'm actually pretty sure it is.
It couldn't possibly, because I haven't played Croesus in August.
Oh, in August. Hold on. Quick double check. WinSec. Control F. Nope, that's fucked up. Fuck. What? Hold on. Did I fuck this up?
Oh, no.
I'll have to go back and maybe fix that. That seems like a mistake. Anyway, what do you got going on?
Oh, no, I just can't read. That said February. No, that's definitely me.
Oh, okay. No, okay, I'm like, you fucking gaslighting me? What the fuck is this?
Nope, I just can't read. Oh, man. Imagine a world where aggro players could read. What a wonderful world such would be.
They'd be upset if they could read that sign.
So speaking of being an aggro player, our next list is Mardu Firebending.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so I read the text on Firelord Zuko and then said I need to explore how to use that firebending mana because you only have it during combat, and I need to figure that out and also answer the rest of his asks. So he's got kind of a lot that he's got going on, but I wanted to, see what's good in there. I think we already read that card up at the top of the show.
But blah, blah, blah. Firebending X equal to his power, and then whenever you cast something from not your hand, or from exile specifically. I think it's from exile.
From exile specifically, and also from a thing that enters from exile, which is, Zuko, the exiled prince, cares about things coming from exile.
Wow.
The people who make this game are very good at their jobs.
They really are. Say what you will. They are definitely not just phoning it in.
Yeah, these designs all snap. Alright, so let's talk about what the fuck I put in this deck. A big thing that I wanted to do was be able to make number go up for firebending, so like increase my mana generation, and one of the best ways to do that is with knives. So of course we're on the Hero's Blade like we talked about at the top of the show. Passes the vibe check with flying colors. Obvious, I'm going to take advantage of that. We're also on what I call my EDH Stoneblade package, which is a bunch of cards that are inspired by the 60-card Stoneblade deck. And we play that in their EDH variants. So I've got Cloud, Midgar Mercenary, who ETBs and finds a knife. We've got Stoneforge Mystic, who also ETBs and finds a knife. The key knives that we find with those are Sword of Hearth and Home and the Buster Sword. Yep. So the play pattern for that is Cloud enters, I find the Sword of Hearth and Home, I put that on Cloud, we blink Cloud with it on combat damage, and we find the Buster Sword with the second enter the battlefield ability. We also have some recursion and redundancy for that game plan. In this package, we include Philia, Exuberant Shepherd, and the Sarima.
That freaking dog, I tell you.
Yeah, she was responsible for probably me dying the other day.
Yeah. Thank you, Modern Horizons 3. I will not forgive you for this transgression.
Yeah. So Philia blinks either Cloud or the Stoneforge Mystic. She also can blink the Sarima, and we can use the Sarima to find either Philia, Cloud, or Stoneforge Mystic, and all of those cards sort of set me up to do whatever else I need to do for the rest of the game. I'd also included the Equipment Tutor Fighter class because it's on color and is actually really strong.
It's also it's sick as fuck.
Yeah, it ETBs and finds an equipment, and then the second level makes your equip abilities 2 less to activate, which means every sort of X and Y equips for free. So that was extremely good for this. And then it has another mode that lets you force blocks, but I'm not usually into that because I want to connect for my swords of X and Y triggers.
Look, a lot of the classes I found that unless that last level is fairly cheap to activate, you're not paying freaking 5 mana to go to level 3.
Every once in a while, I'll do that on the Rogues class one, because it is kind of just a coastal piracy, and then you spend the 5 to, air quotes, put those cards into your hand.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I don't think I've ever fully maxed out a class. I did do that once with Fighter class when I had a creature with Trample, though, because then, that's just a kill spell.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my Stoneblade package. A thing that I realized while I was writing these cards down, though, was that I should be on Sword of Wealth and Power, because that one gives Zuko, protection from some of the most common forms of removal, instants, and sorceries. It also makes a treasure token on combat damage, which synergizes with other cards that I have in the deck. And the other thing that happens is it forks the next instant or sorcery that you cast. So the things in combat that I spend my firebending mana on, like instants, we can get those copied if we cast those after we've dealt combat damage.
Which, compared to some of the last couple decks, like the last few decks that we've talked about on the podcast, you actually have checks notes, more than 10 combined this time around.
Yeah, I wanted one of the like pillars of deck building for this was that I wanted to have things to use that mana on. So I've got a collection of mana sinks and offshore accounts with which to put my mana in. Horizon Stone and Leyline Tyrant are offshore accounts. I also have the Land Treasure Vault. It's an artifact that has an activated ability for XX and tap, and you sacrifice Treasure Vault to create X treasure tokens. So I can kind of launder that firebending mana into treasures that way. We also have a bunch of other lands with activated abilities like Quarry Mountain Monastery and Rogue's Passage. Karn's Bastion was another one that I included because Zuka puts a +1/+1 counter on each creature when you do the fun exile thing.
I feel as if you have enough historic spells in this, you could put that white one from Modern Horizons 3 in here too, if you really needed it. But I guess you need the red mana for the activated abilities. It's like, look at the top 5 cards to put a historic card in your hand and the rest in the bottom in a random order. It's tricky.
Forget what the name of that is, but yeah, that seems like a reasonable mana
like
sink.
If you use the firebending mana to pay like the other mana and you still need double white, but like I don't know, you're trying to do all the things and leverage every permanent resource possible to get that card advantage.
Yeah, it's pretty I'm being pulled in a lot of directions with this deck build, and trying to answer all of the asks is asking quite a bit of me, but I think we're doing pretty all right. And we might have a way to utilize that land. I think we can take a look at putting that in there. So there's our knife package. The other things that or not the knives, the mana sinks and offshore accounts. The other things that we have is fire breathing for the whole team. That is a thing that some very powerful firebenders can do, and I think will be reflected on a big card in the set, probably. Give your firebenders you control have fire breathing. But until I have that, we've got Perforos and Moonbear
Quinn
Dragon.
manifesting this into existence.
Yeah, they have to give me sinks for that, and we have Faded Firepower, which is a very good place to put mana, but it's a fucking windmill slam to say like creatures you control with firebending have the activated ability for fire breathing or something like that. Like that seems really easy to do. Yeah, I don't know. Fucking show me Sozin's Comet.
Yeah, just fucking give it to me. Just have it happen. It's okay. It's fine.
I'm rattling the bars on my enclosure. Anyway, other places to put mana. We have the Fire Lords, Sozin and Ozai. Sozin has the ability on the backside of that saga. When you deal combat damage with Sozin, you can pay X and can put creatures from their graveyard onto the battlefield under your control with the total mana value of X. So that's a good place to put a bunch of firebending mana. And then Ozai, you can activate his, I think, 6-cost ability to exile the top card of each opponent's library, and you can cast until end of turn, you may play one of those cards without paying its mana cost. So that's a great place to put a bunch of mana. You can just fucking rip their Atali or whatever.
like I said earlier, like Firelord Ozai being depending on what type of deck you're playing, but having like a self-perpetuating engine with pseudo fire breathing in his case, or firebending, excuse me. And just having that payoff, like, I guess that's like that's one of the nice things right now. That might be some frustrating for other people, but like we're entering this point where they're trying to not have like these really true dead spots in Magic cards. Like we're getting more Titan templating and everything, and having this mana payoff. You know what I just thought of, because I'm looking at your list here? If
What?
Rough Rhino Cavalry has exhaust from Aether Drift, I wonder how this set's going to synergize with Aether Drift once it comes out with all this Firebreathing or Firebending. God damn it. It's different. It's a
Great
different
question.
thing.
Yeah, there are different mechanics. But yeah, great question. I think that this might be a one-off because that was just a good instance of that. But also, it seems like a good place to put Firebending mana is on exhaust abilities, and it seems very safe for limited or whatever.
Yeah.
Instance and Flash Enablers was my other place to put Firebending mana. We've got Archangel Avacyn in particular, who's a satisfying Flash inclusion. She gives my creatures indestructible, and then has the evil Avacyn board wipe mode when she flips over to the other side. I've also got Gandalf the White, who will give my legendary spells and artifacts flash. I really like that inclusion in this deck because I've got just a bunch of legendary creatures, so I think that's going to be pretty useful. He also has flash himself, so I can flash that in and then flash other stuff in the middle of combat. That's cool. And then instance, I've got X spells that show me cards, like the Commune with Lava and March of Reckless Joy. But we've also got Hostile Negotiations, and You Found Some Prisoners, and from the set, Roku's Mastery. Also from the set, we've got the instant Fire Nation attacks that makes soldiers with Firebending, and it has a flashback for fucking 8 in a red, which is a lot, but if you have the mana to flash that back, then whatever.
Yeah, no problem. Moving on.
Yeah. I've also got Cascade Tech and Impulse Draw Tech in here, one of which is on these instants, Bituminous Blast. We deal 4 damage to a target creature, and Cascade. That's an old one for the Boomer Jund fans in the chat. So we've also got other Cascade and Impulse Draw. Like, I wanted to make sure that I had an even split between Impulse Draw and Cascade engines, and also one-shot effects that give me that. So the one-shots like the Into the Time Vortex and the Bituminous Blast that we talked about give me that Cascade, and then the engines do that, like Wild Magic Sorcerer, the Throes of Chaos, and Reign of Riches, which is the card that we talked about, well, alluded to rather, with the Sword of Wealth and Power that treasures would synergize with, because then I can, every spell that I cast once per turn from treasure gets Cascade, and that'll give Zuko the, like, it'll put a Zuko trigger on the stack to put +1/+1 counters on the team.
Yeah, this is I feel as if one of the things that I can immediately think of the top of my head from you talking about this deck and the 5-color Aang deck is that no, I guess like in Zuko's case it is only just mana advantage and not just pure card advantage, and that's why your 99 really has to kind of like help with that. But damn,
Yeah.
Firebreathing X just so nutty.
It really is. You were capable of putting out a bunch of fucking mana. And like, we've got the other engines and stuff, but speaking of putting out a bunch of fucking mana, you come out the gate swinging when you're playing this deck. My first outing with that, I consistently got Engine Beezes interacted with because the stuff that I was setting up looked scary. There was a build that had a long-range sensor in it, which whenever you attack, you put a charge counter on it per player that you're attacking, and you can activate it for a colorless mana to discover 4. And that got blown up before I put any charge counters on it.
Can't have shit around here.
I forget what exactly some other engine pieces and like synergy cards were, but it was very much just like the first time I played this, I would play this card and then that would get interacted with. I'd play another card and that would get interacted with. And I'm going to combat and swinging with Zuko and making firebending mana and just having nothing to do with it because I can't stick permanents.
Yep. It's rough out there. Sorry, anyway, continue. I'm like, how do you do it, you know? Like, how do you try to protect yourself in, like, non-blue? And it gets pretty tough in terms of, like, trying to give your stuff protection.
Yeah, there's really only so much that you can do, and I feel like I should probably start stepping up my step dodge game and including more of the clever concealment type stuff,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
because I just gotta stop getting interacted with, basically.
You know what? You don't even, you know what? Who am I freaking kidding? Where is reconnaissance? That's the real problem. You're gonna
I
make
don't
all
care
this
about
mana
that
with
card.
Zuka? Ah, okay, fair enough.
Like, I want to deal combat damage, and if I'm not, like, what am I doing if I'm sending my large into combat and not forcing somebody to block or like connecting and getting my attack trigger off? Like, I really just,
I mean, look,
there are decks
like
for reconnaissance, but I don't know if this is one of them.
like you said earlier, is that from the current version of the deck, you're being pulled in a lot of different directions because Zuko is pretty open-ended. It's really just a matter of how you are going to be honing in that stuff. Like, I don't know, we were talking about Sir Vondem, what's the subtitle? It's not the Lucent because that's the uncommon one. Sunstar Exemplar or whatever the fuck the subtitle is, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So we talked about it a bit, and we were talking about it with Kristen, and I think I actually talked about it with Kyle in a little DM that we had, where it's like, so you are not playing Azorius Flicker, where Azorius is spin your fucking wheels until, I don't know, you deck yourself and you win off of like a lab man or something. I don't know. But in this case, you just have the more lethality. You're more inclined for lethality via whatever your 99 is going to be. And Zuko's the engine of generating your mana for whatever the X value is going to be, while also having exile casts and exile enters payoffs. So maybe the real thing is, based off your current version, is, especially when you're starting to mention like step dodges and everything, maybe you do go like a Mardu flicker route and kind of make everything a little bit neater. Have that floating mana to like flicker your stuff. Have, I don't know, Perforos, stuff like that. Like, I don't know. The potential.
I mean, we've got Perforos, so
yeah,
we're set
like
up for that. I just need to add the Mardu Flicker stuff. Yeah, that's a good shout. There's probably some do-nothing creatures that I can cut because all I really need is Zuko's Firebending. I don't need the guys who say Firebending and not much else than that.
yeah.
And if I cut those guys, can lean further on this being the Voltron deck that it wants to be, because it very much does want to be a Voltron deck. Zuko's that motherfucking dude.
Yeah. So it's tough out there when you. One of the things too is like you are making this deck outside of the context of the rest of the set, and like
This
you said,
is also true.
like what are the other like if we are the type of players, and you especially, if you're trying to make a deck that is the topical deck of the set and you're trying to do the things, it's like, what does the rest of the set look like? And then maybe that can give you a better indication of what you want to do.
Show me Sozin's Comet!
Oh my god. Just give it to me. Monkey's paw curls. Okay, you asked for it. But
It's
yeah.
gonna be so sick. It's gonna be like the fire crystal, except for firebending.
And like, here's the other thing too about if you do end up going like the flicker / like step dodge route, is that this is the security that you're looking for, that Zuko and like the color combination is like, okay, I can't really give you a a permanent based mana sink that allows you to save your stuff, but at least that floating mana that you're making off Zuko can go towards, I don't know, Eerie Interlude, or like something that'll protect a permanent, so that way you can actually keep like Faded Firepower or Sozin's, or the Rise of Sozin, or Sozin's Comet, or whatever like you want to keep around, right? So I don't know.
It could be on like Mithril Code. I think that would be a good addition because it's got flash. It saves.
Well,
Zuko.
I was gonna say I don't even, and I don't know what your thoughts are on Swiftfoot boots, and maybe that's not like the best version of the effect that you want to be looking for, but like I don't
just
know.
never think about boots and greaves. TBH, I've got them in a couple of other decks, but with this one, I just didn't think about it.
Much to think about.
Yeah, much to think about indeed. But a lot of the times you go to like activate your greaves or your boots and people are like, okay, I'm going to blow up the thing that you're targeting, or they're going to blow up your greaves or your boots or whatever. And I'm just like,
but I mean but they're already doing that to your stuff from the sound of it anyway. So like
they are already doing it to my stuff. I don't
know, bait them out with the Swiftfoot boots and make them have it, and then do Zuko stuff. But that's the tricky thing about deck building, and especially with the hyper speed of we're at with Commander, right? Where it's like you either lean into what the commander's asking for, and then like you really push the bar of what the deck, like, okay, play a Bracket 4 Zuko deck. What the fuck does that look like, right? How rude can you get with it versus what you're trying to do here, which is way more casual and much more mid-smoking, you know?
Bracket for Zuko probably looks like a Draneth Magistrate Uba Mask lock.
Oh, fuck. Oh, no.
You asked.
Well, at least you know. At least you know and you can warn me. But, I don't know.
You don't have a deck for that arena. Like, when are we going to play that? We're not going to.
Yeah, never. That's never going to happen. Obviously not. But, yeah.
Speaking of stacks pieces, I played a game with that deck into a Rule of Law, and man, drawing all of my spells that said Cascade on them fucking sucked.
You're like, wow, this is where I would Cascade if I could.
Yeah, this Into the Time Vortex does nothing. This Call Forth the Tempest can't even wipe the fucking board because I can only cast Call Forth the Tempest.
Yep.
The Buster Sword ends up just being a Phyrexian arena for me because I've already cast a spell this turn.
Yeah, it's tricky. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I'm hoping to see what you come up with here in the future, and you kind of fine tune it, because I have liked what I've seen. You did do some pretty silly stuff, but in other contexts that I've seen so far, yeah, you did kind of have a hard time, to put it mildly.
Yeah, I was getting absolutely fucking bodied in a lot of the times that you did see it. But the one shining golden moment that it did fucking work perfectly, I had everything that I needed. I had my knives, I had my mana sink enchantments that were enabling me to get through for combat damage, and the deck was humming on all cylinders. It looked very fucking cool. And obviously we got our head cut off for looking very fucking cool, but I had the satisfying experience of my machine coming together. And I think if my weakness is my engine pieces dying, then I really do just have to get my shit together with the blacksmith skill or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Get back in the forge and get to work.
Yeah. Fucking further research required. All right, what do you have for me?
So, it's blood drip posting time.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, unsurprisingly, this deck still got it.
As if there was ever any doubt.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, I just gotta come back every once in a while and reestablish that this deck is still fucking sick and people love it. I think the biggest compliment I've ever gotten for this deck was from Medusa, saying that it's a very Mardu deck, despite the fact that it's Boros. And I was like, I can get behind that. I feel that. So, before any of the card updates that I'm going to be talking about, I'm just going to talk about the game that I had over on Davey F. Jones' stream. I was up against her friend Uli, and we are also playing with MJ of MTG in Quarantine, who's been off not doing content and apparently just kind of enjoying his time away from that stuff, which, I mean, hey, good shit. We had a good game.
Oh, yeah.
It was Uli was on Sidisi Brood Tyrant, Davey was on Gisa the Hellraiser, and MJ was on Anya Merciless Angel.
Oh shit!
And
That's
I was
a classic.
Yeah, no kidding. Also did a really good job on just whittling everyone's life totals down evenly. So at the end of it, she was getting +9/+9.
Sick.
So it was getting pretty damn spooky when we got to the end of it, and it was a 1v1. So hey, the Boros decks got to the last final round 1v1, which was all fine and dandy. Earlier, I think if I had actually managed to get my Angel of Indemnity off properly instead of how we ended up kind of quote unquote resolving it, Davey had Graveyard Hate. So I was trying to encore my Angel of Indemnity, and before we were way too ahead to realize that the exile from the graveyard is part of the encore cost to make the token copies. She was like, cool, I'm gonna not Tormod's Crypt, but whatever.
Single target exile your graveyard or whatever.
Yeah. And it was like, oh, wah. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Oh, so you were thinking that bricks that, but actually it doesn't matter.
It shouldn't.
Because exile is part of the cost.
Yeah, exactly. And it shouldn't have done it. And I had the extended art version that it doesn't have the reminder text on it, so it was like, whatever. Despite that, get Uli out. MJ and I are like doing damage to everyone in some way, shape, or form, and then we take Uli out and we take Davey out, and then it's just me and him. One of the main issues that was happening throughout the entire game was that MJ was playing Flameblade Angel. Does anyone remember this freaking card?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Good old 6-mana 5/5 that says whenever damage is being done to a creature you control or your face, the owner's source of the damage is also taking 1. Which I was like, great, maybe I need to like get on Flameblade Angel in a deck at some point. Like I can be down for that.
I think that this card is extremely mid, but I did see a deck at a convention once that was built all around Flameblade Angel, and there was a certain point where you just fucking you have to respect her.
There's also like a promo version, so like mentally I'm like I need to get back on this stuff, right? So in this instance, right,
if there's a promo version, that changes everything.
Yeah, listen. If I can get a bling printing, you sure as shit know. Oh fuck, they don't have it. God damn it. Anyway,
Womp womp.
so I had added, as previously mentioned from Dragonstorm, I added Shocking Sharpshooter for targeted damage, and then the Wefstalker Ardent for artifacts and creatures. Needless to say, because MJ was getting hit, I was also getting hit. So we were more or less at parity, which, like, I didn't mind because in the back of my brain, I'm like, I got some lifelink sources from the Angel of Indemnity, so I can offset some of the damage. I got some blockers for his giant fucking 13/13 commander, which could 2-shot me if I'm not careful. And then, of course, we kill our other 2 opponents. And then I do like my most, like, one of the things I love about this deck is the most, like, incredibly weird game sequencing that you ever did see. So it's like, okay, I put out Legion's Initiative earlier, and it was there, and my stuff was getting its various pumps. And then I'm like, okay, main phase, my turn, I will activate my Legion's Initiative to exile my board, which at the time also included an Iroas God of Victory, just at enough loyalty to be a creature to be exiled. Then I cast Explosive Getaway with the exile being his Flameblade Angel. It kills his other rando creature, and Anya is obviously not taking enough damage for it to matter. Then I go to combat, and then I bring my stuff back. Iris got a victory, not a creature anymore, but it doesn't matter because it is giving my stuff menace. And then I do just enough chip damage, because Anya can't block, to get MJ down to like 2 life, and then I still hold back Shocking Sharpshooter for the block on Anya. And then and then of course I'm also getting like chip damage off the Sharpshooter itself, and the Arden entering. So I'm like, cool, all right, I'm at safe, unless he decides to just immediately fuck me over by like blowing up the Sharpshooter. Like, I think I'm gonna be okay. And sure enough, we get down to the wire. He's just like, I can't do anything. I'm like out of gas and everything. And meanwhile, I'm over in the corner like, I'm gonna cast Audric Bloodcursed for menace and reach and indestructible, and I don't know, like whatever was going on, and it was just enough to just get that extra chip damage in for the win. So deck can be incredibly resilient and offers me incredibly weird ass backwards lines of play. Explosive Getaway is still one of those cards from Aether Drift that I have like, I assess a lot higher probably than I should. But some of the examples...
I think that card whips. Every time you talk about it, you're saying, like, this is the sickest shit ever, and we hear the story, and it's the sickest shit ever, and I'm like, well, I need to get my hands on one of these, I think.
Yeah, and I got the... in retrospect, considering how much money... Like, I think I maybe put $10 in that, like, really Pokemon-ass looking artwork version, and now it's like less than $1. So like real clown shoes. Why did I even think it was going to be worth that much money? But I really wanted that version. Just yeah, I've got it played. I'm going to talk about some of the stuff that's going on here, like the additions and everything. So after that game happened, I put in an online order for some cards, and I was thinking about like, what am I going to do with some changes? Like, do I need to do anything? What is or isn't performing? This is the stuff that always happens at this point where I'm like, it's time to do some minor deck tweaking here and there. And the 2 cards that I ended up settling in for the non-land side of things is the Roller Crusher Ride, and Archaeomancer's Map. Now, Archaeomancer's Map, I feel like, really speak for itself. Just put basic planes in my hand, and someone's ramping super hard, and I can put those lands into play, or I can use them to pitch with my blood tokens and have kind of like pseudo card advantage. And then on another game that I had after these changes were made, I got to do a Delirium active Roller Crusher Ride into an Explosive Getaway.
Sick.
So it's like deal 8 damage to my opponent's stuff and maybe save something or do whatever, right? So the Roller Crusher Ride, it's from Duskmorn, if you can believe it. Jeez. It's this death machine. Looks great. It looks like, what is Roller Tycoon or whatever the fuck that video game is, where you make like those infinite looping roller coaster rides where people are like, oh, the humanity. So X2 generic and 1 red for legendary enchantment that says Delirium. If a source you control will deal non-combat damage to a permanent or player, or there are 4 more card types among cards in your graveyard, it deals double that damage instead. Let me tell you, with how many artifact creatures I have in this deck, it makes it super duper easy to pull this off.
I should totally be playing that more. That card rips.
So I got your ass.
You really fucking did.
And we'll talk about that later, because I got a Quinn cannot have shit around here thing later. So when it enters, it deals X damage to each up to X target creatures. It is not an X divided as you choose. It just straight up says X equals 4, deal 4 damage to up to 4 targets.
Yeah, that's really good. I did not realize that it wasn't like that damage divided. It is just like that amount of damage to that many targets.
And the other thing too is that, like, when you're thinking about what am I investing 5, 6, or 7 mana into for an effect like this, you're like, cool, if I'm dealing X equals 3 damage to 3 targets, that's like, okay, that's a lightning bolt per thing. That's like a lightning strike or whatever. But Delirium triggering and doubling that damage is like, oh boy, it's so fucking good. So I'm back on my roller crusher ride bullshit, and I think I'm probably gonna see if I can try to find a way to put that in Chico, just because the thing did the work. So Explosive Getaway in that was just freaking great. My friends were like, I can't believe you've done this, and I'm like, well, not much you can do. So in addition to this, one of the last changes that I made recently was that I added in a storage land. I added in Caveron Memorial World to the deck that everyone's been looking down. So enters taps for red, station for 12 plus. That way you can pay 1 red, 1 and a red, tap, sack a land, create a 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token. Then creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn.
People are giving this one mad disrespect on the internet, and I think they just don't understand.
No, so obviously me, in my position, be me. People have already talked mad shit about Audric Bloodcursed. So I obviously got to be like, fine then, hand in hand, let's make it happen. Let's make the dream work, you know? Kind of like your Zuko situation, I am always trying to find ways to have access to effects in my land base. So I have the Monumental Henge I was talking about earlier in this deck. I got Roadside Reliquary. I got Fomori Vault. So I got my ways of getting kind of pseudo card advantage in here. Slayer Stronghold. I absolutely love having this thing as a land in any white-red deck. +2/+0, Vigilance, and Haste until end of turn is always great. And you can always sneakily give it to other people when they're going to be dealing damage to someone. Oh no, I need that thing to die. Do that. So I am also... So yeah, like, the additions feel good. Caveron, I got some high hopes for. I think it's just kind of one of those things where I'm like, if I'm not attacking with Audric, guess what I'm fucking doing? I'm putting 3 charge counters on this damn thing. I don't really care.
Yeah, that is what I found with most of these, where it's like you've got 1 or 2 creatures that you were absolutely not blocking with and you cannot attack with, so you might as well station.
And then the last thing to note, as usual, I am getting some more bling stuff coming in. I'm getting a foil Slayer Stronghold from the Secret Lair
Nice.
to replace the otherwise just normal drab black and white version of it. I'm getting a foil version of the extended art Battlefield Forge from Brothers War. Yeah, we're gonna treat yourself until you realize, well, that's too much. I'll maybe come back to Roller Crusher Ride in a sec.
Yeah, treat yourself right up until it's by a plateau.
We're not. No, that's not happening.
Yep.
No, if I reach that point, it's absolutely over for me. I've gone too far.
Yeah, you're cooked. You have to become Zenkel in monk's robes with 10 decks.
Exactly. What do you got for your last deck?
I have for you a deck that I let the internet build a portion of, and I did not give them the context for that.
Oh, hey, I contributed to that.
Yes. Listen, if you're a keen-eyed listener, you probably can put the clues together when I'm asking you for your favorite boy that does not get bounced by Whelming Wave. You're going to give me cards that will eventually end up in a deck. And that is what exactly happened here. So I posted a picture of Whelming Wave and said, show me your favorite Sultai creature card that doesn't get bounced by Whelming Wave, as a way to collect all of the best Leviathans without going to EDH Rec. I wanted to just like test it differently. Yeah, just like crowdsourcing from a different set of data, basically. So yeah, we used my Bluesky following as our crowdsource, and we got.
I contributed.
Indeed. What did you end up giving me?
I can't fucking remember.
Honorary sea creature Runo Stromkirk and his backside Crothus, Lord of the Deep.
Yep, love that card.
Is actually sick as fuck, and if you are in Sultai Sea Monsters, is a very cool inclusion. So yeah, for surezies. All of my Leviathans basically are from this, except for I think the not even Coma made it in here from this.
Damn, all right, crazy.
Yeah. So I've got the fucking Starwinder Rexiel. We've got the Serpent of Yawning Depths. We've got that's just a Starwinder with different art. We've got Coma, Cosmos Serpent, both flavors. We have Tromokratis, Junkwinder, Crothus, like we talked about.
Oh, you got Junkwinder? Fuck yeah.
Yeah. The commander of the deck necessitated the inclusion of Junkwinder, and that was actually an inclusion because Plaidclad was like, I know what you're on to. I want to see that on my desk in 2 weeks, and then posted Junkwinder, and was really just like a genius level inclusion because this synergizes with tokens and is a Leviathan, which is exactly my game plan. Well, it's a serpent, not a Leviathan, but like sea monster, you get it.
Yeah.
Eventually, they're going to give us
please.
Yes, give us a batched term that just makes Whelming Wave say octopi and sea creatures don't get bounced. Anyway, we're on Spawning Kraken, we're on Cephalid, Face Taker, we're on Erixmathes.
Hey, wait a minute. What the fuck is Summon Bahamut doing in here?
I just needed a big fucking destroy target permanent button.
Yeah, all right, sure. Alrighty.
I'd really just be putting that shit on everything like it's Lowry season salt, dude.
Damn, let me get my fucking salt shaker. Out pops up Bahamut. How did that get there? Oh, that's crazy. What? Oh my god.
Oh, I'm so hyped for this deck because I get to play Lochmere Serpent in it, and it's actually a really good inclusion here.
Yeah.
Because it has these activated abilities that you can sacrifice lands to get the one of the abilities. It additionally can bring itself back from your graveyard by exiling cards from your opponent's graveyard. So if I've done enough of that mill with a card like Mesmeric Orb or other means, have put cards into people's graveyard with like the Nemesis of Reason, then all of those are ways that I can return the Lochmere Serpent from my graveyard to my hand and get that back on the battlefield. Marvo's an octopus, so he gets to come and
he just
can cast.
Yeah. Who invited this guy? Jeez.
He's actually really good, though.
No, he is good. No. He is good in this deck, for sure.
Yeah. My huge mana values, I'm always winning that clash damn near.
Oh, damn. Here's Coma. Damn, maybe if I tried again. Here's another Coma. Fuck. Damn
I actually did win a clash like that when I played the deck. Me and Lenny clashed, and I reveal Coma, Cosmos Serpent, and he reveals something else, and then I draw a card, and then I cast Coma, Cosmos Serpent. Thanks, Marvo. I'm on Grozoth in this deck, who you never fucking get to play.
No, never.
Also needed to make sure.
Who is this? What is this fucking card? I've never. I know what this card is, but like,
yeah.
What
So
the
it's
fuck?
got transmute for 1 blue, which means I can discard it and find 9 drops. And when Grozoth enters, I can find any number of 9 drops and put those into my hand. And if I do shuffle, so that's another reason actually to be on Summon Bahamut. It's a 9 drop.
Oh shit, you're so right. Damn. All right. I'll stay in my lane. I take it back. I didn't realize you game.
My selections for that section were very careful. I have Inkwell Leviathan and Hulking Metamorph in the 9 drop slot to go with my Grozoth. I don't think I bothered with anything else that big. Oh no, Connive Concoct. My split card that's a reanimator spell
that's
is
right.
actually a 9 drop.
You know what? Sometimes Ravnica has some bangers.
It really does. I think that one is really cool in particular because you get to surveil and then bring a thing back. So you don't even have to have anything in your graveyard. If you believe in the heart of the cards, aka are confident in your deck construction and your ratios that you have a reasonable probability of hitting a creature, then you can absolutely rip that with an empty graveyard. It feels good.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Other inclusions to fill the graveyard, right? Self mill. I've got the package of that, basically the stillness in motion, the cemetery tampering, the just like a mill at the beginning of your upkeep type enchantments, ripples of undeath, of course, out of the tombs. All of that is filling up my graveyard. We've also got things that take advantage of having milled cards, like Head Shredder. Big fan of that guy. Anytime I mill a land, then I get to just put it onto the battlefield. That seems pretty good. Mesmeric Orb, like we talked about, is in this deck because that shit is one of the best cards at filling graveyards ever. Holy shit. Other tech is extra land drops in future sites because that's what I'm on when I'm in green and able to ramp. Then that's just the way that we're doing that.
So when you can't do Grixis Mean Girls bullshit, you're gonna be like, I guess we'll do what Sultai wants to do.
Yeah, the thing that Sultai wants to do actually is probably mill and then Crucible of Worlds and then extra land drops from your graveyard, but I didn't put that particular package in, I don't think. So extra land drops from the top of my library, that's fine. I didn't read my commander for this, actually, Lamau. My commander is Sin, Spear's Punishment.
That is important context. Like, what are we talking about?
Which is why it's so meaningful that I can put lands and things like that into my graveyard. Because whenever this bitch enters or attacks, it's a Titan. You exile a permanent card from your graveyard at random, then create a tapped token that's a copy of that card. And if the exiled card is a land card, repeat the process.
Bullshit.
So I'm extremely unconcerned about putting lands into my graveyard because Sin will just print out copies of them for me and keep doing that until I hit something that's a non-land. He can't miss. It's fucked.
Yeah, they I know that Dale was really disappointed over the lack of other Sultai cards from Final Fantasy, but in terms of what came from it, it's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I think Sin has been pretty effective the couple of times that I've played it. I have a version on MTGO that was just Sultai mid-range slop, and that was a pretty fun and satisfying experience. And then I
like
came at
one
it from a
one of, if not the most powerful 3-color combination, just by what all these colors can do with each other.
Yeah, absolutely. So I, after playing that deck, basically was like, what if instead of just slop, I had a direction?
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm gonna play Sultai Whelming Wave Reanimator instead. So we put out the post to crowdsource my sea creatures and then put those into the deck with the rest of the package of the cards that I knew I enjoyed from the Sultai midrange slop deck. So we've got all of that skeleton that we know makes a functional pile, and then all of the cool Leviathans that I wanted to see. And all of that together makes a deck that is more thematic and actually, I think, more consistent. The thing about my sea monsters is they all either clear the way for each other or synergize with each other by printing out more copies of each other or casting them for free. One of the most fucked up cards in this deck actually is Kiora, Sovereign of the Deep.
Oh, wait, look at that icon. Is that from Aftermath? Oh my god.
Holy shit, an Aftermath design being a fucked up Magic the Gathering card. Sound the alarm. But yeah, whenever you cast a Whelming Wave sea creature, one of those guys, you, from your hand, you look at the top X cards of your library where X is that spell's mana value, and you can cast a spell with mana value X or less, no, a mana value less than X from among them without paying its mana cost, and put the rest on the bottom in a random order. So you cast your fucking Nemesis of Reason, you look at the top 5 cards, and you cast a 4-drop, what are we doing here? It's really strong.
It's pretty fucked.
In gameplay, I ended up casting, I think, like a 5-drop or something like that, and then had no, I think it was a 7-drop I cast from my hand, actually. No, it was Coma. Okay.
Oh my god.
Yes. We cast that with the Marvo trigger that we were attacking Lenny and getting, and we got the Coma, we cast the Coma, and because I'm casting that from my hand, even though it was for free, Kiora lets me look at the top cards of my library, and I find Whelming Wave in there and cast that and really just
fuck right off. Oh
everybody
my god.
out of the pool.
Oh jeez. You know, as much as I'm like mentally, I'm like, that's got to be the most aggravating shit, right? At the same time, I'm like, but it's sea monsters. I mean, like it could be worse, I guess. Like, I don't know. This was fine to me.
Like, sure, I do get to do some powerful things, but I have to play sea monsters to do them. So
yeah,
there's
like
that.
this is the restriction in that you're playing sea monsters in the best color combination in Commander, probably, period. And but you also could probably risk hitting that point where you're just like, cool, I have drawn into every 5+ mana value drop in my deck, and I cannot cast anything for the life of me. Like, that is a very real...
It literally was that the first time that I played this particular build of it. I, for the first several turns of the game, did basically nothing but land drop and self-mill with the Cemetery Tampering and the other Stillness in Motion.
Yeah.
And then we got to 20-something cards in library. We do the Stillness in Motion card and cast something that changed the way that game was going for me. And then we also landed Kiora, and at that point, things started schmoving. Because we cast our Board Wipe Leviathan, and then we cast our Whelming Wave, and then we start casting more and more fish, and then making tokens and snowballing into a board state that is absolutely overwhelming value. The Junk Winder is cool in this deck because, like we talked about, Sin makes token copies of the things that it exiles. So those enter, they trigger Junk Winder. I get to freeze not just freeze, tap and freeze a thing. It gets these blockers out of the way and keeps them out of the way so that my Leviathans can finish the game up for me.
Yeah. So... all the things that I do enjoy, unfortunately for everyone else, that's just that's Junkwinder, baby.
Yeah, it's a pretty competent game plan. I've also got the Blackblade Reforged and the Buster Sword in here because I want to make sure that I can put those on my flying 7-power commander and really start chunking away life totals if I can't get through with my fish. Then my other fish, then Sin for commander damage should be able to just cut some heads off.
For sure.
I think that's why I don't have the players can't gain life tech in this deck, because my commander is such a viable Voltron threat.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, if you can do it, like, you have the potential, like, there's a little bit more security in that decision.
Yeah, if you're 7-power in the command zone, then I'm like, okay, that's fine. You can gain all of the life you want. I will just cut your head off when it comes to it. I'm playing a battle in this deck.
Yeah, you are.
I wanted a kill spell that was a permanent, and Invasion of Innistrad ended up being that for me. Shout out to the Benoit who turned me on to this when he built the Saruman, the White Hand deck that's all permanents and was still fucking had instant speed interaction. So Invasion of Innistrad, ETBs, and gives target creature and opponent controls -13 until end of turn. And then it's got 4 defense counters. You can
it's got 5.
Remove all of the 5. I can't fucking read. 5 defense counters. And then when you flip that, you've got the Deluge of the Dead. When it enters, you make 2 zombies, and you can spend 2 in a black, exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, make a 2/2 black zombie creature token.
Oh, and it's graveyard. Hey, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, it can be graveyard hate. I can also, if I've got trash in my graveyard that I don't need or don't want to see reanimated with Sin, then I can eat that with Deluge of the Dead and remove that as a potential target for the random reanimate.
Yeah, that's actually... Huh. Yeah, that's actually some pretty good utility tech that I would not expect to see. And everyone's like, oh, we'll just let that battle go away. You're like, you fool. You foolish fool.
It allows me to sculpt my graveyard.
That is a bit of a tricky tech that after rereading Sin, after you mentioned that, I understand why it's in there now. It all makes sense.
It's also pretty easy to flip if you have a flying large commander. So I might move some more battles into this if I can find others with abilities that I actually give fucks about.
To tippity tap, yeah. It's there is, what is it? Invasion of what's the one that's the board wipe that you choose legendary and non-legendary? Can't
Invasion
remember.
of Fiora.
There we go. That was it. Yeah. I don't know. Much to think about.
I would rather play that if I also had a use for Queen Marchesa on the backside, because
Which
I
you don't
absolutely
see.
can flip that, and I just don't have a whole lot to do with that here. I guess I could be like a hater on other people's counters, but
You could get the battle that also makes a sea monster.
Oh, I had that in here, and then I cut it for being an annoying card. I just don't like Cetus.
Fair enough.
It is actually a good inclusion in this deck. You are correct, though.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, as long as they make more sea monsters, there will always be a chance you could get on a list like this.
So yeah, we're just, I like sea monsters. This is a pretty cool take on sea monsters. I don't know if I'm going to bring it to paper, because I do have the, like, mono blue version of this already.
I mean, there's that, but, like... I guess if you go the non-bling route, it's still quite a bit of an investment to put a deck together like this. It's not going to be a... And there could be the part where, like, maybe you end up playing this deck a bit more and then maybe realize you're just not as much of a fan of it as you thought you were.
Yeah, it's probably just like an MTGO thing.
Yeah, and it's good for the MTGO meta. I don't know about the rest of the world.
That is true, yeah. I have gotten satisfying gameplay experiences out of playing the Whelming Wave Typal deck on there.
They're like, God,
and that was just with the bad Leviathans. I didn't even have the good ones in yet.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see. I'm probably going to spend like $1 and get a bunch of really good Leviathans and put those in the deck.
I wonder what the next crazy bonkers Leviathan or sea monster card they're going to be making looks like. Because, I mean, like, you know, Summon Leviathan is pretty good, but, like, where can we go from there, you know?
That's one of the inciting incidents of this deck, actually. There's a standard deck that uses Smuggler's Surprise to put Sin and Summon Leviathan into play, which is just like...
holy
brutal.
Fuck! Damn.
Just wipe the board, and here's my larges, G fucking G.
Final Fantasy has ruined Magic the Gathering again. Oh, Jesus. That is actually pretty sick, though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Damn. Leviathan's got hands.
I was like, I should play that in EDH.
Oh, that's so good. That's awesome.
All right, well, I think it's about that time then.
One more quick thing.
Yeah.
As I am wont to do. Megatron Tyrant, aka Quinn, cannot have shit around here. But
I don't remember exactly what happened, but I do remember not being able to have shit.
You F'd 6 and like mentally checked out for the rest of the game. Like you noticeably went from being like, I'm gonna cast Bramaz, King of Ereskos, and hope I can do something with this. And I'm like, cool, I'm gonna cast something that kills your Bramaz. And you were like, motherfucker. And then you literally just said nothing for the rest. You're like, I'm gonna go play Tekken 3 or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, Quinn cannot have shit around here, but it was also shit on Brandon Saturday, so we gotta do what we gotta do.
Was I playing Catgirl Supreme?
I
think so. That's
yeah,
the only
no,
place
you were.
where I played
Yeah,
Grimace.
you were. Yeah, because you had like Mono White or Robbo and all this other stuff, and then we just like you just couldn't keep anything on the
and then it
board.
was just fucking board wipe, and then I
And
played this guy,
Benji-
and then killing back thing.
I and of course I'm trying to fight off Benji, who was playing Choco, and unfortunately could just
That's
had
a
the right.
fucked up ramp deck, and people are not recognizing that because the birds have cute art.
I'm trying to fight for my fucking life, but unfortunately Benji reached like the critical point of just having an overwhelming army of flightless fucking birds. But so I get that new Mardu enchantment out early with Megatron out that gives my stuff Death Touch and +1/+1, and when it comes out I have 2 extra fucking combats.
Oh my gosh.
So
This
I was making
ruined everything.
I was making so much mana off Megatron, just flipping back and forth.
You only have to deal 1 damage and it's lethal at that point, and you have all of that fucking excess
one of the
damage
things
mana.
one of the things I would trying to avoid doing with this Megatron deck is having something explicitly give Death Touch until all Out Assault was printed, and then I'm like, I think I can justify doing it like with just 1 card, none of the other effects in the deck. Like I don't have like a Basilisk Collar or anything. I'm like, no.
The gamers hate to see Megatron with a Basilisk Collar.
Yeah, like, oh, he falls off. Oh, I just pay 1 mana and put it back on, and I do it again. So this is the deck. Megatron is very much like, it feels like a bracket 3 problem. Like this guy shows up,
yeah, for sure, Zeus.
and he fucks shit up, and like no amount of me putting in a Staff of Nin is really gonna offset like what I'm fucking doing with this.
The text on the card demands to be in bracket 3.
Yeah, no, like I am killing stuff, I'm blowing stuff up, I am making way too much fucking mana.
Yeah,
and
like that article from Kristen that mentions if you've got that level of card advantage or mana generation in the command zone, like just off that,
you're it's so
probably not
fucking
bracket
loud.
2.
It's loud, like he's doing so much, and it's the fact that I'm like, cool, I will cast Spine of Ishzal, blow something up, I will sack 2 Megatron to deal something 7 damage, but it's actually 3 and 4. So I transform Megatron and then I put Spine of Ishzal back in my hand. Then I hit you for 7, and then I flip him back and I make, I don't know, 13 mana or whatever. Like whatever I end up fucking doing. Like cool, I recast Spine of Ishzal.
Spine of Ishzal with mana
again.
left over. Ugh.
Just get absolutely fucked. So in theory, with this deck, I'm doing a lot of problems, and I had a strong enough start, but unfortunately, I could not face against Benji, who was just like step dodging. And I think there was actually just like okay, I'm gonna cast the thing that makes my stuff not fade out. That's not the right word. Fucking what's the fucking mechanic called when they just like are there but
phase out?
Yeah, phase. Like, I'm going to phase myself out or whatever ended up happening. I can't remember. It was just like, cool. Oh, no, it was literally like Dawn's Truce and all this other bullshit. I'm like, God, fucking heroic intervention. God damn it. I will say, though, this was the second showing of why Roller Crusher Ride is a fucked up magic card when used in conjunction of putting a bunch of stuff in my graveyard, using it to deal 4x equals 3 damage, but it's doubled to 6 to kill 3 things. Until Benji protected something very important with that. And then I put out Pia's Revolution, so anytime that my artifacts died, do you take 6 or do I get the thing back? So anyway, deck's doing cool stuff. I did add that station into the deck, so we do be doing that shit where it just ETBs and blows stuff up. So yeah. Spacecrafts, am I right?
Yep.
What's the
Spacecrafts indeed.
Extinguisher battleship. The battleship.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god. Yeah.
That one, yeah.
Yeah.
That one does just say fuck target permanent.
Yeah, fuck this in this particular direction, and then eventually I don't know, I could make it a flying trample 10-10. That seems like pretty good.
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's get into my soapbox, and then we can wrap up the episode, and then save some energy for the weekend, right?
Hell yeah, that sounds good.
So, have I talked about this before? I feel like I talked about it in passing, where you should build a deck with some measure of resiliency in mind and plan for the long-term game.
I think you maybe mentioned that in context of Sun Titans.
Yeah. Look, sometimes outside of knowing what do these next few lines have to do with anything, just hear me out. Outside of knowing when to concede in a completely losing scenario or doing some quick mental heuristics to justify the concession, or how friendly stream mulligans can be simultaneously detrimental and positive for the sake of entertainment, I think a case can be made for playing your outs by adding some quote-unquote outs into your commander decks. No,
Dude,
this
you're
is
so right. You can't play to your outs if you don't have outs to play to.
so. This isn't a thing about playing more removal or board wipes, although that's for another day and for someone else to espouse. Maybe it's playing more step dodges, playing more regrowth effects, or having some other additional contingencies in the worst case scenarios. Hey, Legendary Creature Podcast, Annie and Kyle, they talk about step dodges over there, and we know how Light loves to do this in a pinch. Good old, like, oh, you blew up my stuff. Okay, I cast the spell that brings them all back this turn. Whoa. The worst thing for any player to deal with is the sticky card that just won't fucking die, or the player who just can't be stopped.
Yep.
Now, there's a lot of ways to go about this, and each color has its own flavor of doing that type of game action, whether it's like using your graveyard as an additional resource or not. You could argue mono red has this issue, but you can't say the same if they suddenly hit the scrap mastery button. Commander players can be tricky, resourceful, and dare I say, smart and attractive. Don't quote me on that. I remember a few years ago when I was following a bunch of budget lists, was that they suggested to double down on what makes a deck work. And that, you know, you can add, and if you don't have those limitations of budget or otherwise, you should add, like, you can add tutors into the deck, you can add silver bullets, or I don't know why I pronounce it like that. Silver bullets, excuse me. Or you can just choose to, again, double, triple down and be the problem. Why waste slots and interaction when you can just draw into bangers? And I understand the allure of that, saying, yes, I'm the problem, it's me, deal with it. But either getting blown out for putting all your bags, Jesus Christ, I can't read today. Putting your eggs in one basket route, or crushing your opponents in overwhelming value in like a 0 to 100 situation. I think we can have a compromise, and I think you can at least you can have one hat trick in your back pocket. I'm going to use Audric Blood Curse as an example for this. So, Boros Charm. How many times have you gotten got by a Boros Charm in a key moment, right?
Fucking non-zero number of times, that's for sure, Z's.
And having
I've
to
also gotten people.
Yeah, getting people and being got by it, that is like, sure, Boros Charm is the one example, and we have other new cards now. I've had a very well-timed Legion's Initiative on someone else's turn in a moment where some shit was going to go down. I'm like, cool, I will be back. And people are like, fuck, what do I do? Not every color obviously has the same tech as like Heroic Intervention, and don't even get me started on Teferi's fucking Protection. But you should always sit down and try to explore what each color, and also colorless, has to offer you when times are tough and you can't have shit around here, because you can. I believe in you. And this is where we're about to go slightly off the rails here.
All right.
So the real question is, when it comes down to like deck building construction and concessions, right? What do you need to have? You got your deck building templates. Yes, you need a removal. Quinn hit that bong. You need a couple board wipes. Maybe you need some board wipes that do kill everything, or maybe you need board wipes that protect your stuff in some way. You need ramp, card advantage, for better or worse. Yeah, you do need graveyard interaction. Don't be me and barely pack anything, because then you're like, fuck, I could have done something about this. Don't be afraid to put in that scavenger grounds and just pop the fucking graveyard, because other people might hurt way worse than you do. The list goes on, kind of thing. I just find that when I am talking to you, Benoit, Light, Medusa, some of my friends outside of that, is that their criticism not their criticism, the thing is twofold, where people are like, wow, Cole's decks are really resilient, to fuck, Cole's decks are stupidly resilient. How do we deal with this, right?
Real.
And it's something that I've thought about for a really long time. I'm like, I need to be able to come back, even if I'm willing to compromise on maybe like deck synergy or the deck's theme, or maybe sort of like the turn cycle threshold, where like, okay, we should be entering the end game, and I'm not quite there because I've decided to be flexible rather than rigid and determined on my game plan. I like being able to ebb and flow depending on the needs of a table, because there are two other players to consider when someone's being the issue. Sometimes three other people are not going to have the answer, and that's the unfortunate part of a singleton format. You could try to account for everything and try to be redundant. But sometimes if someone's zoomed off into a winning board state super early and you can't keep up, and they also maybe have step dodges or whatever,
Fucking turn one soul ring.
Turn one soul ring, of course. That's why you blow that shit up. But the point I'm trying to make about this whole soapbox, and the thing is that there's going to be times where maybe your commander asks you to be as efficient as possible to do the thing, and I ask and maybe suggest that in order to make sure that you don't get caught with your pants down, is that you add in some redundancies or contingencies. What is your commander? Are you willing to take the heat? How loud is it? What bracket are you playing in, and who are you playing with? And also, do what Benoit and Quinn talked about on Smoking Mids, is that do those set deep dives and see what the set has to offer you in your deck in terms of preserving your board state and your game plan. Pick people's brains. We have friends in this community. We have friends that we play with. Do some Mega Manning. Take some tech from them, because what they're doing is super cool. And see if you can pull it off too, because, we all got stuff. We got stuff to offer people. And I think we can learn a lot from each other. So that's kind of it. I didn't really know how to wrap it up. But just kind of think about how you can preserve your game in the long term rather than just gunning for the win as soon as possible.
Damn. I'm snapping appreciatively.
Yeah. I felt like it's short and sweet. I hate getting blown the fuck out when I think I got someone on the ropes and they're just like, yoink. And I'm like, no, my victory was in my grasp, but it's gone now. Fuck. And then when I do that to other people, I'm like, oh, wait, yeah, that's right. I can do that too.
I think some long game plans that I have been incorporating more is the lands with activated abilities. And I'm not like usually a utility lands ass gamer, but I'm really into Quarry Mountain Monastery in particular.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Man lands, like the Restless Cycle from the most recent trip to Eldraine. I think almost all of those offer something for you, particularly the ones that show you more cards in one way or another. The red-black one does the like looting thing, and the blue-white one makes map tokens.
Oh, hell
So
yeah.
both of those you can find utility in. And then, like we talked about, Quarry Mountain Monastery letting you exile the top card. And then I think Kishla Village, the green one, does the Surveil.
Yeah, it does surveil, yeah.
Both of those are sort of like long game card advantage / selection engines. And I think all of that is just like, just having that in your back pocket. So even if you don't have anything else going on, you can still activate that and maybe find something.
The more, obviously one of the things about these types of lands is that it usually is pretty resource intensive and requires maybe something else to exist. Roadside Reliquary can't draw you a card unless you have at least one enchantment and or an artifact, which is pretty easy to do. But 1 land and 2 mana for 2 cards is not exactly the best rate, but in a pinch, if you need to dig a bit deeper, that's the way to go about it. If you're one of those Rakdos sickos, getting a copy of Mount Doom to have a board wipe as the contingency, like, yes, it's a sorcery speed. Yes, you need a legendary artifact. But that's really kind of all you need in those moments that kind of come up from out of nowhere. And I didn't talk about Captain Howler today. I'll save that for next episode when Cody's coming in. But I needed a blocker in a pinch, and one of the things that I did for that deck was those creature lands, except I have like Fairy Conclave and Gate to Encampment for the little low to the ground ones. And if you need a blocker in a pinch, that's the way for you to go about it. And sometimes people just kind of forget that you have those. Someone was like, do you only have 1 creature to block? And I looked down and I looked up and I looked back down at my lanes and I'm like, technically? And they're like, what? And I'm like, I have this land here. And they're like, fuck. Like, and that's the thing. Like, if you can play a mid card, whether that's a land or something else that maybe requires a bit more mana to do, but the payoff in that moment, like, I'm looking at Campus Renovation as like one of those cards that I absolutely love in today's Commander format, because in Aftermath, woohoo, shocker, being able to return up an artifact or an enchantment from your graveyard to the battlefield is pretty huge in the world of saga creatures and artifact creatures. And then being able to impulse draw 2 cards until the end of your next turn can really be the do or die thing that you need in those moments. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to go about it, and you don't have to break the bank either to have those contingencies. So yeah, much to think about, right?
Much to think about indeed. This goes hand in hand with the like insurance policies for aggro decks that I'm thinking about, though.
Yeah,
I think having those insurance policies is the same sort of like setting yourself up for the long game type of thing.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Did I really appeal to anyone? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what people have to think, but people usually get back to us on that type of stuff pretty quick.
Yeah, let me know, gamers. I want to know what you have to think about it.
Let's head on out of here. Quinn, where are we at on social media?
Find Cole on the internet at the Bloodrick Guy. Find me at Grodic Energy. Find us collectively at HBVC -MTG. And find us in the MTG Lexicon Discord, in the Here's Blade Vibe Check channel, posting. And we're available wherever podcasts are sold.
All right. We will see people at the 24-hour stream, and then we'll see you for the next official episode with Cody for Brew Review.
Indeed.
See ya.
Later, gamers.